Welcome, everyone, to Albuquerque, New Mexico. It's time for Hobbs Eagle basketball, live on the radio at Cool 95.7 on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Hobbs Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Ty friend Ron Gunner with you. Manuel back at the station. Your Hobbs Eagles in the second round of the APS Metro Tournament. Last night, big game for the Eagles. Ron taking on the number one team out of the Max Preps rankings. Volcano Vista, of course, Eagles came in at number 2 in the state. It was a battle from start to finish. Hobbs actually up by 10 at halftime, 32-22 in that game. Unfortunately, in the second half, though, Volcano Vista outscored the Eagles 40-23 by a 17-point differential there. Hobbs had his biggest lead as 13 points in the second half, but Volcano Vista kept clawing. They got a lot of free throw opportunities. The Agueno kids scoring 31 points in that game and a double-double, too, 13 rebounds. The problem was too many rebounds in bad situations, and also the free throws added on to the comeback. And the Eagles, though, dominating big time through the first two quarters.
Yeah, it was all about the fouls, and we knew about that from the beginning. We knew that we had to control our foul situation, not put the Volcano Vista on the line. Unfortunately, that's what happened in the second half. As you mentioned, yeah, they had Hobbs had a 13-point lead in the second quarter, but just slowly lost it, and they, as you said, chipped away in the third quarter. It actually was back and forth until late in the fourth quarter before Volcano Vista was able to pull away. Hobbs unable to keep up with the pace and just not able to get any more shots to drop like they have in the past. So unfortunately, for them, they lost this one, but they did very, very well considering as how they've had such struggles against Volcano Vista in the past. And they've got, once again, we talked about the fact that they are the 3-time champs of the state, and there's a reason why they are the champs.
And the other thing about it, too, when Hobbs gets some of their key players in foul trouble, they have to start playing a little bit tentative out there, not play as aggressive on the defense, which Hobbs is known for, such as Abraham Pena, 13 points in the first quarter. He had almost every single point in that first quarter for the Eagles. But as the game went along, he had nothing until late in the second half, 3 points or whatever it was, 16 total, but hardly any scoring in that second half. He had to play a little bit tentative. There's a few plays where he had to pull off on defense because he didn't want to pick up his fourth and possibly his fifth foul. There has been games where he's lasted with 3 fouls like he did last night, but it makes you slow down a little bit, and that's not the aggressive style that Coach Ross wants to see. But at the same time, he knows these kids want to stay on the court, too.
And on the other hand, there's the other side of it, too. When you're trying to be aggressive, go for the ball, but unfortunately, instead of the ball, you get the player, and you foul them instead, or at least it looks like you've been fouled. And you get the call, and that, of course, slows down the tempo. You have to second-guess yourself. And once you start doing that, then you're in your own head, and that really causes problems. You just go out there and, like Ross usually says, Coach Ross says, have fun out there. Go out there. Don't think about it twice. Don't overthink about it. Just go out there, have fun, play the game you know how to play, and be fundamental about it as well.
Yeah, Kenyon Agueno was doing a perfect job of using his body, going to the rack with it, putting his shoulder down. Probably should have had some charge calls. He did get 1 or 2, but more than what he got. Poor Jairus Turbiantes was trying to defend him in the paint, putting his body up pretty stout, and then here comes the shoulder at him. And then they called on Jairus, didn't know what he was supposed to do at that point. I think he had at least 2 of those fouls in the paint, just in a kind of a back-down situation. Yeah. So kind of a tough deal for the Eagles to deal with. In fact, the Agueno kid did get 10 of 11 free throws, which is just about as many as all the Hobbs Eagles as a team got in that same game, 10 of 11. So kind of an irony there with that situation. But in terms of the scoring for the Eagles, we mentioned 16 for Abraham Pena, 13 in the first quarter, and only 3 in the second half. He did have 4 rebounds for the Eagles. Jairus Turbiantes did manage 13, 6 points coming in the second quarter, also 4 rebounds. The one spot that we wish we could add some more point production from, Parker Henderson, he did have the most rebounds for the team was 6, but unfortunately didn't put him through the hole in terms of shots. Did take a lot of shots in the paint. 7-footer, got to get him involved a little bit more, and he's got to take it upon himself to get up over that rim and use that size to his advantage. And that game, kind of quiet. I did get 6 boards, but still need his presence offensively too.
And as the cheerleaders always say, be aggressive, and that was the thing that was going on. He had 2 or 3 shots that he had all he had to do was just put it in, but unfortunately he had a defender in him, so he's trying to work around it. I think he needs to work through that defender to be able to get those shots in. At the very least, if he doesn't get the shot, at least draw the foul and be able to get some, because he's pretty good on the line. He needs to work on that as well, but still, it's one of those situations where you think you're doing something well, you change it in the last second, and it doesn't work. You just got to go back to the fundamental, be able to just go and just drive into the lane and be able to attack that basket.
Peyton Hodge, of course, probably one of the quickest first steps in the business here in the 5A division in the state of New Mexico. He had a great job of slicing the lane, got some key layups there in that second half to keep the Eagles right around Volcano Vista. But the problem was several times driving into the paint, trying to go through the legs behind the back. And then, I mean, he's very tough. He's going to go at you hard. He's going to slice through you. But be a little bit more traditional fundamental with the basketball, and you're going to get your points. I mean, your step is so quick, it's hard to keep up with you. But turnovers are going to be costly against a team like Volcano Vista. They made it work to their benefit.
And you also got to make sure you're aware of the fact that you've got two players in front of you. They're stand and hold. They're holding their ground. They're not going to let you get past you, and if you do, you're probably going to get a charge for it. So you got to turn around, be able to find an open player, and be able to pass the ball around again. You cannot try to get – you can't be heroic. You can't go through two players or even three sometimes and expect good results out of that. You're probably going to either lose the ball or get a charge called against you.
Eagles had stellar free throw shooting. They were 10 of 11, 90.9%, one of their best of the season, so that definitely helped their cause out. Unfortunately, rebounding was a big differential in that game last night. The Eagles were out-rebounded 36-22, so 14 rebound differential, and that's because, as you mentioned before, Kenyon Agueno with his 13 boards just continued to, even when without the basketball, he's going to the rack to try to get some tip-ins for his squad. Pretty much that's the tale of the two halves, basically. Hobbs up by 10 at halftime, ended up losing by the margin of 7, 62-55. But probably one of the biggest tests of the year for Volcano Vista. They were just at that prestigious Nike tournament in Arizona last week. Played two nationally ranked teams, and then two of those teams were also one of the best in California in the southern part. But and beat an Arizona squad, a 6A squad that's like 12-5 or something like that. But still, that team is, they're not the records you mentioned before in terms of the 3 state championships in a row, and of course now they're 8-2 on the season. They're a tough squad to beat. Hobbs had them on the ropes tonight. You can't let that pace come down a little bit. You're frustrated about the loss last night. You got Valley High School, which has a very big championship tradition. They moved from the 5A down to the 4A now. They've been there for several years. They used to play in the same leagues as the Hobbs Eagles and had some championship matchups against Hobbs. I mean, they got a storied past in terms of what they've done over the years. And if you look at Valley in terms of what they've done back in the day, I mean, they've had serious championship visits. Last year, in fact, in the 4A, they lost to Highland by 1 point in the finale, 45-44. Ended up the season at 24-7. 2014, they won the championship in the 5A. Coach Joe Coleman, who's been there for 20-plus years, he's not the coach now, but he was there all throughout the years of their championships. They beat, back in 2014, beat Atrisco Heritage by 14. They were 27-2 that year. They were also the 4A champs back in 2019 as they knocked off Los Lunas by 3, 37-34. Not a very great record that year, but they still got the championship. 17-13 was their record. And 2020, they picked off Highland, the team that beat them last year in the championship, 67-61. Joe Coleman was the coach then, too, 22-7 record. And then one other time, way back to 1996, they won the championship in the 4A as they knocked off Alamogordo 60-54 to go 18-11 that year. That was a different coach, Jerry Snyder. But if you go back to 2000, and we're talking, almost 25 years ago, they lost to the Hobbs Eagles. That's Joe Coleman was coach back then, 77-66, one of those championships that Coach Gilmore had at that time. Hobbs finished up 25-4 with the ring that year. Valley finished up at 23-3, 77-66 to win for the Hobbs Eagles in 2000. So they've had some competition against each other in the past, but they're in the 4A now, and some people thought that would be a big advantage to them, and they're kind of fighting their way through that. Last year, of course, so they lost in that championship game, but 7 of their seniors graduated from that squad last year. They do return Luciano Mondragon, also another good kid, too, the Monroe kid. He definitely can score some points, Carter Monroe, and then Angelito Villa, who didn't play that many games last year, but he is a starter this year. So those 3 returners for Valley, but they lost those 7 seniors, and 2 of those guys were double-digit scores.
Yeah, and it should be very interesting. I mean, I know they're going to be playing better than they did last night against Cibola. They just couldn't seem to get anything in traction, but Hobbs and Valley, you're right about the fact that they've got a history between each other that goes back to 1957, but it is 14-5 is the series record, and the last 3 times they played each other, it's been a while, actually. The last time they played them was 2017, but all 3 games were in the playoffs, and all 3 times Hobbs was able to beat them with ease, and so we're hoping to see that again. But you never take that for granted that Hobbs can come in here and just bowl over any team that they want.
Last night, Valley lost to Cibola, as you mentioned, 67-49. Cibola is the 11th ranked team in the 5A, so that wasn't that wasn't an upset of any imagination. 18-point win for Cibola. Carter Monroe, 13 points, 8 rebounds, but he did have 4 turnovers, so if they can get on top of him a little bit defensively, that might be a good situation there. Angelito Villa, he finished up with 12 points and 9 rebounds in that contest, so he was almost getting a double-double in that game. Also shot 1 for 2 on the free throw line. Luciano Mondragon had 5 points and 4 assists, and Isaiah Abeda with 5 points and 4 assists as well. So they had 2 in double figures, shot 40% from the field against Cibola, 28% from three-point range. They did hit 8 trays in the contest, 8 trays in the game, which is a defensive thing the Eagles are going to have to be aware of because they've had several teams. Last night they kind of subdued Volcano Vista in terms of the tray because they only had a few in that game.
Yeah, they did. And you know what? The three-pointer, we thought it was going to be about the fact that Volcano Vista was going to come out and try to shoot the three, and they did for a moment, but they ended up going ahead and driving the lane, being able to feed it inside. I also noticed, for better or worse, Hobbs was trying to feed the three as well. They were keeping a lot of players around the perimeter. They weren't getting them in the paint like they I hope they were going to, especially with the big guy, Henderson. But in the end, basically, this is it. I think they're going to do that against Valley because I think Valley is a smaller team. They're a slower team possibly, but definitely a smaller team, and I think they can work Henderson inside to get those shots and give him a good night as well as for himself as the team as well.
Didn't get a lot of free throws last night. They were just 3 of 6 for 50%, and we've had some games where we've felt that problem too. We didn't get enough chances to shoot free throws because of not enough penetration and going back up with it strong. I mean, that's been an issue, but again, we got to watch the three-point shot, and maybe they're not going to get that many free throw opportunities. This might be going back and forth. They had 18 turnovers last night too, which I think Hobbs can really turn the screws on that pressure defense, the trap, full court press that we see this past season where we've really come back strong with that. Could be a factor in that Valley game tonight. If you look at Valley right now in the Max Preps poll in the 4A, they're ranked 7th. Artesia's 5th and Lovington 8th, so they're in that same mix as some of the teams that we're familiar with in our part of the state. Strength of schedule, not even in the double digits, so they haven't been playing a whole slew of tough teams. There have been a few, though, 9.4 in the strength of schedule. They have defeated some 5A teams, though. Number 24 ranked Los Lunas by 14, picked up Monzano by 1. And also in the 4A, they beat Artesia in a close one, 50-46, so they knocked them off a couple of spots ahead of them in the Max Preps poll. And also in double overtime, they played Highland 68-59 in that contest. So some tough contests so far for this squad of Valley. In the 5A, though, they did play Volcano Vista back, I was thinking December 7th. They got trounced by Volcano Vista 79-34, a 45-point loss there. Luciano Mondragon, 17 points, had a couple of threes in that game. Carter Monroe had 10 points, and he had 2 3-pointers as well. So even in a big loss, they still had some guys shooting from the outside. Did get 55% from the line, which wasn't great, at 8 turnovers. So not horrible turnovers against the top team in the 5A. But lost by, again, 45. They also lost to number 5 Roswell from the 5A, 63-56, only a 7-point loss there. Monroe with 21 points, 3 3-pointers, 7 rebounds. Villa had 15 points, but he had 5 turnovers, so maybe you can take advantage of him. And in that game, 8 3-pointers for Valley, even though they lost by 7 to Roswell. So, again, games where they lose, they still can like to take them off from the outside.
And they got slaughtered by Volcano Vista. I'm sure you covered that. But, yeah, at Volcano Vista, 79-34. That's a measuring stick as far as Hobbs played pretty well against Volcano Vista. Could have done a little bit better, maybe a more of a press like we've seen in the past. But it's kind of hard to press a team that is very fast like Volcano Vista. Maybe we'll see more of a press during this game against the Valley team.
Quickly getting your starters here before we get underway. We're about a minute from tip-off. Valley will have Christopher Melendez. Also, Angelito Villa, he's a returner from last year. Carter Monroe, another returner. Isaiah Beta Jefferson and Jose Jaramillo. And for the Hobbs Eagles, Braddock Beatty, Parker Henderson, Peyton Hodge, Abraham Pena, and Jairus Turbiates. We're going to take a quick 30-second break as the Hobbs Eagles take on Valley in the second round of the APS Metro Tournament. Stay live with us here on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
Did you know that Lee County State Bank drive-up lanes are open late? Interactive tellers give you convenient, extended drive-through hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Lee County State Bank ITMs feature a screen which connects you to a live teller inside the bank to assist you with your banking transactions. No need to rush to the bank with Lee County State Bank's extended ITM drive-through lanes conveniently located near you in Lovington, Hobbs, and Eunice. Lee County State Bank, member FDIC.
First American Bank believes success comes from building personal, long-lasting relationships that are built on mutual trust. We take a consultative-driven approach to get to know you and your business. We offer a wide array of banking and digital solutions, plus more than a century of local experience. So, with First American Bank as your trusted partner, when you succeed, we do too. Find out how we can get it done for you. First American Bank, local first since 1903. Member FDIC.
Lasco Construction is a proud partner in education in Lee County. Lasco Construction is your hometown construction company. Lasco Construction encourages you and business owners to support Tatum, Jow, Lovington, Eunice, and Hobbs businesses. Buy as much as you can locally, which is why Lasco Construction always supports the youth of Lee County. Lasco Construction supports you. Call 393-9161 for all your construction needs. Support your community.
Welcome back live to Albuquerque, the APS Metro Tournament. Ty, friend Ron Gunner with you. Manuel back at the station as the Hobbs Eagles come in at 11-2. The Valley Vikings at 7th in the 4A at a 5-5 record. Coach Ize Panis, his second season with the Vikings, and the Hobbs Eagles, of course, Ronald Ross. And getting ready for the tip-off here. They're getting the announcements of the starters right now for the Hobbs Eagles, wearing their black uniforms, gold numbers and trim. And for Valley Vikings, they've got the white uniforms, maroon numbers, and gold trim. And again, the Eagles have had some series time with this team over the years. Not as much as when it was in the 5A, but they've been in the 4A several years. And we're just a point or 2 points away from being the state champions last year as they lost to Highland. Highland's another team that dropped down to the 4A a few years ago, and that's been making them more dominant with the smaller divisions of teams that they've had to face.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, we have a history between these two teams, but it's been so long ago that these are a whole new different teams, and they haven't seen each other, so they're going to have to fill each other out to know exactly what to do to be able to win this game.
Now, in that second place finish last year, Luciano Mondragon did play. He averaged 2.6 or make it 4.3 points a game, 2.6 assists. He was the best assist man on the team as a junior and had 27 games under his belt. Carter Monroe finished with 3.9 points a game. He played 24 games for Valley. So those two guys had some good experience for the Valley Vikings. They didn't score much in the championship game last year. Mondragon with 3. Monroe did not score. And Angelito Villa, who's a starter in today's game, did not play in that championship game. So they do have some experience, but losing 7 seniors, that's a rebuild year, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is. And you hope that especially since you don't have anybody to rely on to be able to come up and play, you had all the seniors go. So you definitely have a rebuild year, and you hope to see that they hit the ground running, so to speak.
Abraham Pena, of course, leading the squad at 17.8 points a ball game. Jairus Turbiatas, 12.9 points a game and 9.9 rebounds, so he's almost averaging a double-double. The tip into the backcourt to get this thing started as Parker Henderson gets the job done is getting it to Pena in the backcourt. Throws it across the timeline in the hands of Peyton Hodge on the right wing, getting guarded closely by Melendez. Holds the ball up top, then with a pass to Pena, top of the circle. He'll back it out, dribbling through his legs. 2-3 zone for Valley. Bounce pass to Turbiatas right wing, down low to Parker Henderson. Turns and faces a hoop, misses the shot, goes 2 hands through 2 defenders. It's kicked out of bounds by Valley, and there's what we're talking about. Go up and dunk that thing. Don't just tip shot it.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, the only other problem would be is if you step on somebody's foot and you may twist your ankle, but that is a problem. Just definitely be aggressive.
He's got the size advantage. Inbound up top to Turbiatas. His 3 out the front of the rim, no good. Rebound for Hodge. Gets it to left corner to Braddock Beatty. Misses the shot from 15. Then the tip up and in for Parker Henderson. Got a hippity hop on that one. He has 3 rebounds and 2 points. It's 2-0 Eagles. High inbound of the timeline. Pulled in. Villa drives the right lane, puts on the brakes, turns and fires a hook shot off the back of the rim. No good. Braddock Beatty. He'll dribble across the timeline, slows it down for the offense. Unloads to Beatty on the left side, threw it behind him in front of the Valley bench. Bounce pass to Pena, left baseline, double team. Back out to Beatty with a fadeaway 3 out the back of the rim. Ball tipped up in the air by Henderson, but pulled down for of Jose Jaramillo, his first board. Gets it across the top. Fires a 3 out the back of the iron. Sky high. Pulled down by Pena, his first board. Had 4 rebounds last night. Down the lane to Turbiatas. Misses it off the front of the rim. Gets his own rebound. Gets it stripped out of his hands as it's taken away by Christopher Melendez for the Eagles' first turnover. Melendez will slow it down at the timeline against Turbiatis. Stop and go, dribble to the right elbow. Pivots and looks for help. Throws it back to Villa at the time strike. To Carter Monroe. Right to Beta Jefferson. Stop it. Hands by the Eagles. First Valley Viking turnover. Into the front court comes Braddock Beatty. He calls for the ball and over to Peyton Hodge to get the pass up top. Drives the lane right side. High scoop shot over the front of the rim. It's no good. Pulled down on the other side. Monroe for his first rebound. Gives it off to the guard Melendez. Double team to the top. To the right wing to Monroe. Slides it out to the Hobbs Eagles. To the time stripe to Jefferson. Keeps the drive going with the dribble to the top of the arc. Over to Melendez, who comes back and gets it. Underhands it over the far right wing to Monroe. Turns and fires a shot off balance. Ball gets knocked out. It will be Eagles basketball. So both teams kind of shooting side style right now. Not really getting their form that they need to go with the hand going through the net.
Yeah, a lot of teardrops on the Valley side. The Vikings trying to get those in, but they're just hitting off the mark and the rim, though, but on that.
Coming across the timeline. Bounce pass to Beatty on the right wing. Getting sized up by Monroe. Screen up top from Henderson. Doesn't use it. One hand pass to Turbiatis. Right wing. Fires a three and nothing but net. First tray of the ball game is 5-0. They were up big in the game yesterday against Volcano Vista for a while.
Full press.
Double team pressure. The official on the baseline was watching the ball. Other side of the court, and looks like a timeout as Coach Pontius wants to talk to his squad about how to beat this trap going on full court for the Eagles. We'll take a break. It's Hobbs 5, Valley nothing here in the second round of the 8:30.
It's me, Sammy Sludge. I'm the sludge inside your pipes, your toilet pipes, bathroom sink pipes, even your kitchen sink pipe. I'm inside and outside causing all sorts of problems. Plumbing problems? Call the Master. Master Plumbers, serving households in Lee County and West Texas for over 20 years. Tell Sammy Sludge you called the Master. Master Plumbers, 397-9385.
Back to live action here at Cibola High School in Albuquerque. Second round of the APS Metro Tournament as your Eagles lead 5-0 over Valley. After the Valley timeout, they have 5 guys on the baseline in the backcourt. They all run onto the court as the inbound comes in to the guard. Christopher Melendez throws it ahead down the lane to Villa. Fadeaway shot from the free throw line and nails it right through the net. First points of the game for Valley. It's 5-2 Eagles. Slowing it down a little bit is Abraham Pena now. Only the half-court defense to worry about. No press. Bounce pass over to Beatty on the left wing in front of the Valley bench. Fires an NBA three. No defense comes out on him to the last second and nails it right through the threads. For Beatty, the second tray of the game for the Eagles, who now lead 8-2, their biggest lead of the contest.
That was from downtown.
Couple of passes to the half court. Now Melendez comes across hard on the dribble to the left corner front court. They're going to say he was held onto by Lyric Story, who had just checked in during the break. His first team foul. Hobbs Eagles had a little bit of foul trouble to start that game yesterday as they had to kind of hold the horses back a little bit. Coach Ross did.
It was a reach-in from Braddock Beatty. He had just touched it. It was a late foul, but still a late whistle.
Eagles had 11 fouls through 2 quarters in the first half of that game. Driving the lane after the inbound to the free throw line is Monroe. Unloads to the left side to Villa. Bounce pass back to the time stripe to Melendez, guarded by Pena. Slowing it down just a bit. Unloads to Jefferson on the right wing. Good pressure by Soria. Kick up top is bounced around in the air. Lost near the time stripe. Tipped in the backcourt by Hutchings and tracked down for the Vikings by Villa. Slings it back to the timeline to Melendez. Over to the left wing to Monroe. Dumps it in the lane to the left block to Jefferson. Back out to Monroe for a three off the back of the iron. No good. Chased down to the far right sideline. Ball on the ground and diving all over it is Turbiatis as he went to the floor with Jose Jaramillo in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench on that far right side. And we're going to see who they give the possession to on this one.
Going to go to Valley because Turbiatis was laying on the line when he touched the ball and went out of bounds to Turbiatis.
So they'll be stacking it up on the far right side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. They'll throw it deep into the backcourt to Melendez. Beatty will pick him up. 3:55 left, first quarter. Eagles up 6, 8-2. Stop and go for Melendez. Uses up his dribble. Dangerous bounce pass by the far right scores table to Jefferson.
Yes.
And we got a 5-second, a push foul. I thought they were going to call the 5-second violation, but a foul off ball called against Valley on the screen as they'll charge that one to Isaac Abeda Jefferson, his first team foul.
Yeah, the defender that was Soria, his head was going back, and there was a reason why. It was because the player was pushing him.
Into the front court, the bounce pass up top to Beatty, hands it off behind to Clay, to Soria, top of the circle. Back to Beatty on the left baseline, drives underneath the hoop, scoop pass underneath the lane, and trying to get the ball was Clay, but it's taken away for Valley, as getting the strip was Villa. That'll be the Eagles' second turnover. Then he's fouled in the paint, trying to outlet the ball to the near left sideline, so that'll go against the Eagles, their second team foul. See who they charge this against. Kind of converged on the steal there. And looks like that'll go against Josiah Clay, his first. Now back to the full court pressure. Inbound in the paint to Ivan Jaquez, who just checked in. Stop and go near the time, or actually that's Kevin DeVargas. Gets it to the timeline to Christopher Melendez. Dribbles through his legs as he comes across against Amari Magahe, who just checked in. Bounce pass to the left wing to Kevin DeVargas. Pivots. Faked a pass down the lane, kicks it to the right wing instead to Villa. Dribbles the right corner, triple team. Back up top to Melendez for three, and he swishes it. First tray of the game for the Vikings. Still trailing 8-5 your Eagles.
Hit that uncontested, too.
Coming across the timeline with a thumbs up is Josiah Clay to set up the offense for the Eagles. Mari Magahe coming back to get the ball and unloads it to him on the left wing. Up top to Turbiatis, hand off to Magahe around the right circle. Finds a wide open player for the Eagles and nails almost a three. Trey Hutchings just inside the three-point line. Beautiful shot from 18. They are going to call that a three. So go ahead and count it. The third one of the game for the Eagles, up 11-5. Into the front court, come the Vikings. Pass the left corner to Villa. Drives the paint in the middle and stumbles around as Turbiatis, Hutchings, and Soria all converged on him. He slid the pivot foot and got the third, or make it the second turnover for the Vikings.
Yeah, defense calls that turnover very well, and just trying to get around it, but instead he forgot about the ball and moved his feet, like you said, got to travel.
Already three trays for the Eagles. Beatty, Hutchings, and Turbiatis. They lead 11-5, matching their biggest lead. To the front court, Amron Wheeler, who just checked in. A bad pass down the lane is picked off by Monroe. Third Eagle turnover. He gets it down the right side of the paint to Jefferson. Tries to go up strong with it. Gets hit from behind. They got a foul, and that'll be the Eagles' third team foul. So Amron Wheeler getting an early playing time. Unfortunately, not a good pass down the lane as they get the foul call at the other end. That's against Wheeler, too. His first. Fourth team foul now. And here's the first free throw, actually third team foul. First shot is off the back of the rim. No good for Jefferson. First attempt of the game for the Vikings.
Yep, first trip to the Cherry stripe for either side and made one out of two.
Yep, second one is good. 1 point for Jefferson. It's now 11-6. Going to be Josiah Clay with the dribble into the front court to face the half-court D. He slides left with the dribble, hands it off to Soria, now at the top of the arc. Bounce pass to Magahe, still up top of the circle, and the handoff to Clay. Hippity hop, dribbling through his legs, crossover down the lane. Big jump stop, fadeaway J. He got bumped, no call. Comes off the back of the rim on the J, and the rebound for Villa. Outlet to the far right sideline, coming hard with the dribble is Isaac Abeda Jefferson. Kick down to the right corner and a three fade. Count it for Carter Monroe. Almost falling out of bounds that time. The second tray for the Vikings. Now 11-9. Eagles by 2. Into the front court. On the left wing, Magahe posting up to the left block to Wheeler. He's going to pivot, gets the ball stripped out of his hands by Monroe. Fourth turnover, and Monroe's going to dribble hard, gets it down to the right block to Jefferson, puts on the brakes and got two Eagles over the top of him on that right block, getting ready to shoot. I think they're going to say he was on the floor, though, no shot. But it's getting very close to the double bonus for the Vikings.
It is now 4, one more, and they will have that, the Vikings will, for the double bonus. But that was Clay holding on to him, so yes, it was definitely on the floor. So 4 on the floor, one more, and Vikings going to be shooting the two.
Parker Henderson returning for the Eagles on the sub. Josiah Clay getting his second personal. From the right baseline to inbound is Jefferson. Gets it into the right wing to Melendez. Guarded by Turbiatis. Fakes a tray, dribbles through his legs. Over to the right side with the handoff to Monroe. Fighting away three again and nails another one. He's got 2 in this quarter. That is the third tray of the game for the Vikings, matching the Eagles' total now. But Hobbs is now going to have to start to get some points generated here. Into the front court, Soria. Over to Turbiatis on the left wing. One-hand bounce pass over to Magahe on the left side. Hands it off to Soria in front of the Vikings bench. Gets a double team. Hand to Turbiatis. Fires a shot from the left elbow off the dribble and puts it through the hole. Nice J. Followed through there for Turbiatis as Eagles get back in the lead 13-12. Turbiatis with 5. Clock down to 45 seconds left in the first. Into the front court comes Abeda Jefferson, top of the arc. Handoff on the right wing to Monroe. Another 3 on the way. In and out this time. Eagles not defending him. Bobbled around on the rebound just a bit for Henderson, but has pulled down his 4th board. Outlet into the front court to Magahe in the right wing. Stop and go. Tries to get it down low on the one-hand pass into Turbiatis. Reverse layup from the right underneath to the left of the rim and puts it up over the rim for 2. Beautiful move for Turbiatis. Didn't see an opening on the right side. He's got 7 to lead the Eagles. 15-12. Hobbs by 3. 14 left in the first. Into the front court comes Abeda Jefferson, guarded by McGahey. Unloads to Melendez, far right sideline. Slides to the middle of the court. Comes left and gives it right back to Abeda Jefferson with 4 seconds. 3, drives the right elbow. Fadeaway jumper before the buzzer. No good, an air ball. Rebound for Clay before he can throw a three-quarter shot that hits the rim at the other end. The buzzer sounds, and that's the end of the first quarter. But your Hobbs Eagles get a 3-point lead. 3 3-pointers in that first quarter, but 3 3-pointers for the Vikings, too. 15-12 Hobbs. Back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
Forest Tire is celebrating 80 years in business. There's always another task to tackle, but making your to-do list disappear generates a ton of wear and tear on your tires. Do more for more miles with the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire. Whether it's hauling your boat up to the lake or driving through the job site, Michelin designed a tire that's tough enough for anything. Stop in today for the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire and get back to task mastering. Forest Tire, keeping you rolling since 1944.
Welcome back to Cibola High School here in Albuquerque. Second round of the APS Metro Tournament. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you. And it's going to be a tight game, it looks like, so far, Ron. Both teams have hit 3 3-pointers. Hobbs up 15-12 at the end of one. Leading score for Hobbs, Turbiatis with 7 points, including a tray. 3 apiece for Beatty and Hutchings, who hit a tray, and Henderson with the bucket for 2. He also leads with 4 rebounds. And for the Vikings, 6 points for Carter Monroe, knocking down 2 trays. Christopher Melendez with 3 with the tray. Angelito Bia with the bucket for 2, and Isaiah Abeda Jefferson, only one that shot free throws in this game. He's 1 of 2 for 1 point. We got to get a hand in the face of those 3-point shooters.
Yeah, but we also didn't see a lot of starters in the middle of the game. So definitely in the first quarter, it was just some bench players who were trying to play and get some minutes in.
Vikings basketball to start the second, trailing by 3 at the top of the arc is Abeda Jefferson. Sidewind pass to the right wing, 3 on the way from Monroe, off the back of the iron, no good. And Parker Henderson waiting for it. He's got his 5th board. Throws it across the timeline to Pena on the left wing, down to the left corner to Turbiatis. Dribbles around the circle a little bit up top and unloads back to Pena. Fire it right to Hodge. Hit off his chest, able to recover. Step back 3 on the way, off the right rim, no good. Henderson tries to get a grip on it. It's pulled down by Hodge. Goes right baseline, tries to pass down low back to Henderson. Stripped on the baseline, taken away by Jefferson. Eagles' 5th turnover. Into the front court to the left wing for Villa. Back to the top of the arc to Melendez for the Vikings. Crossover move to the left side, taking on Hodge. Zigzagging to the right, gets a screen up top from Hermelio, and unloads to the right wing to Jefferson. Backs it out to the timeline against Pena. Stop and go to the left side circle. Screen up top again from Hermelio. Hands it off to Hermelio on the left wing. Trying to pivot. Hands it back off to Villa behind him on the left side. And back up top to reset to Melendez. Quick touch pass to the right wing to Monroe. Guarded by Parker Henderson. Big size difference there. Back to the timeline to Melendez. Handoff behind him to Monroe. Stripped by Beatty. It's loose in the backcourt. They're going to call the backcourt violation. That should not be a backcourt because the Eagles got a piece of that basketball.
He said it hit it off his knee or his leg, so.
But basically he has to have control. Hobbs got the pushback, so they should have let that go. And Coach, boy, he was not a happy camper on that other side. And Coach Panias, I think he has a point there. It was a close play. Now one of the officials is going to go have a discussion with that head coach. I don't think he likes the mouth. They got a warning given him to the sideline.
Exactly. Too much. He's still complaining about it, though.
That is the 3rd turnover for Valley. Hobbs has 5. Eagles will get it down low to Parker Henderson. Turnaround Jay misses off the side of the rim. Ball loose on the right block. It's pulled down by Carter Monroe for a 2nd rebound. Throws it across the timeline to Melendez. Hodge gets a piece of it. Pulls all the way over to the far right table side and goes out of bounds. But, boy, long arms and quick fingers for Mr. Hodge on that D.
Exactly. He's been known in the past to be able to get those balls, disrupt them. He just rolled out of the ball, maintaining it.
It's down Henderson, trying to make him think a little bit about his shooting inside. He's been very soft on the shot so far, but he'll get back in there and do some damage. Melendez. One hand bounce pass to the right wing to Jefferson. Uses up his dribble. He put the chest into him. Yep. And a travel. He stopped his dribble. He's just sliding perfectly, almost magnetic to hip on that play.
His pivot foot then slid it a little bit, and that's when he was called for the walk.
4 turnovers now for Valley. Eagles up 15-12. Not much scoring going on. 0 so far as we are into this second quarter. by a couple of minutes. Down to the 6-minute mark here. Coming across the timeline, Braddock Beatty. Touch pass up top. Kirby-Atis coming back to get it is Hutchings, top of the arc. Throw it down low to Pena. Triple team against him. Comes out to the three-point line off the dribble. Fadeaway jumper. Count it for three. You don't let him take those off. Abeta Jefferson paying the price. And Pena with his first bucket. That is the fourth tray for the Eagles.
Nothing but net.
18-12. 6, their biggest lead of the game. Touches on the pass across the timeline. It will be Valley basketball on the near side.
It looks like he's the one that touched it last.
Inbound of the time, strike to Melendez, going against Hodge, top of the circle. Top to Monroe, crossing it through his over the right wing to Beta Jefferson. Tries to go with the give and go back to the free throw line and getting scrunched between Pena and Beatty at the time, or Monroe. They call the squeeze foul there. Call it on either one of the Eagles, I guess. Not that we want to do that, but it's going to be Beatty's second personal, first team foul here in the second quarter.
And the great thing about that play was Pena was in the last two passes for Valley was in there trying to interrupt anyway. In any case, trying to get a hand in there and didn't get. So he's working on his speed and getting in there.
Kevin DeVargas on the left baseline gets it into the right block to Melendez. Comes back and gets the ball up top. Hermilia the left kick back to near top against the 2-3 Eagles zone. Stripped from behind by Hubb. Taken away. Got to go the other direction. The layup on the right side. For the rebound. Throws it through the rim. Count the basket. And for Pena, but what a on the missed layup by Beatty on the right side of the rim.
Got the rebound as well as the dunk, like you said, hung onto the rim. Maybe. Although they are talking about right now to see if it really was the way that
the reason why you could erase the dunker, that might be a safety issue, and the referee's going to say there was nobody near him, and Coach Ross doesn't like that explanation, but still It's going to be two shots for Valley, and they will get the ball back as well.
Yeah, and he's talking about it right now. You're right about that as the line to shoot two.
So it's a 20-12 lead right now, pinning these free throws. And, whoa, the ball hits the wire at the top. The officials didn't see it.
Now they're going to have one did, though.
Now they're going to have a discussion about this to see what's going on. And the officials said, no, boy, that was a big miss there. You can like an answer. That one, give him the free throw. Carter Monroe gets one more. Shot is up, and it is good. For actually 2 points. It's now 20-12. So Hobbs had the 10-point lead just barely for a few seconds there, but now it's down to 6.
Exactly, yeah. That ball just bounced right up, hit the wire, and unfortunately wasn't enough to be able to say no, it was out of bounds.
4 with 5:10 left in the foul on the Eagles. Calling it real tough. That last night, too, the Eagles having to deal with Volcano Vista. A lot of free throw opportunities in that game. They're going to call that foul on the Eagles on the whole. Second, I only have him down for one. I'm not sure where that second foul came from, but that will be his. Inbound of the backcourt to Melendez, taking on Braddock Beatty. The two number ones going head-to-head, at least the numbers on their jerseys. Unloads to the left wing to Monroe. Dump it down to the left block to Villa. Pivots right. Off the back of the rim, no good. Payne to the floor, but they had two guys on the basketball that time. And Pena, both have. You have another guy, call that a jump.
Exactly, in a offside.
20-14, Eagles up by 6. The second. In the backcourt. He'll bring it across the timeline. Gives it off to Turbiatis. Pena on the right wing. Jab step as he comes across the top. Hand off. Lane puts his head down. Gets hopping on a foot. Hodge with a turnaround. Goes. They call the hook foul on Hodge. They're going to say he got around his defender, and Hodge is kind of smiling after that one, so I guess he's going to admit it. But that'll be his first personal, third team foul, and the sixth turn. And Ron, this is where we start to see some unraveling. Amount of throws.
I know, all of a sudden it's 4 fouls, one more, and Valley's going to.
Coming across the timeline is Molina by 6 to the Eagles, to the right wing. He's going to come back to the timeline with it. Dribble. Back to get the ball has been Monroe. He's going the crossover move. Left, right, down the lane. bouncing around the rim and good. Carter Monroe leading scorer for the Vikings now with 10 points. 20-16, a 4-point Eagle lead with 4 minutes left here in the second. Pena will come across the timeline, guarded by DeVargas. Top of the circle. Comes left with it, hand off to Beatty. Beatty up top of the arc, gives it off to Hodge. Hodge will drive the lane with a cradle, goes to the racket, swatted from behind. They call the foul on Angelito Villa, and he throws his fist back at the official. Thought he's going to get a tech on that one. Not happy about the call. But that's the type of play that you see Hodge do quite a bit. Is he'll take on 2 or 3 defenders, tuck his head, got a little cradle on that right bicep, and then got hammered from behind.
Exactly. He loves to drive the lane and be able to get that layup in there. But unfortunately, this time around, doesn't get the follow-through as far as the free throw, first one.
Yeah, misses the first. Eagles, that's their first attempt of the game, 0 for 1 now. Foul was called on Angelito Villa, his first team foul in the second quarter. Second shot up and good for Hodge, 1 of 2. He's got 1 point in the books now. Hobbs Eagles have come into this game in the 60s in terms of free throw shooting, but last night were 10 of 11, 90.9% in that game, so definitely some good free throw shooting. Long pass up the near sideline. Melendez up top of the arc now with 3:40 left in the half for Valley. Gives it off to DeVargas on the right wing. Crossover move to the timeline as he backs it out against Pena. 2-3 zone for the Eagles. Dishes down to Villa, left corner. Dangerous throw back deep to Monroe. Drives the lane. High arching shot. Misses off the right rim. Chased around by Hutchings on the free throw line for the rebound for the Eagles. Ahead to Pena. Drives the left baseline. Scoop shot coming down the middle of the paint and lays it in for 2 over the top of the rim. He's got 7 points, does Pena. 21-16. Hobbs by 5. Quickly in the front court. Here comes Villa now. Gives it off to the right wing to DeVargas. Up top. Took Monroe, back door to the left baseline to Melendez. Tries to throw it back into the paint and is knocked out of bounds by Pena. Pena was solid as a rock there, just kind of put his chest up to him and kind of glanced off of Pena and went out of bounds.
Yeah, well, he did throw it to Pena, hit his chest and went out of bounds, so it's back to Valley.
Inbound from the left baseline from DeVargas. Has a man open left corner, Monroe. Wide open 3 off the back of the rim, no good. Beatty's on the floor trying to get a piece of it. And we got a foul. He went to the floor. So did 2 Vikings. I'm not sure who they said got the advantage on that play. Looks like it'll go against Valley finally as, putting his body on the line. That shows you a little football in him. Braddock Beatty is not afraid to go to the hardwood as they get the foul call against Valley's Kevin DeVargas, his second team foul.
Exactly. He is not afraid to take a lump or two, especially during basketball.
Payne will take his time as he dribbles across the timeline with a 7-point lead. Slides left over the defense of DeVargas. Screen from Turbiatis to the right wing. Stop and go. Crossover for Pena. Spins on the right elbow. Unloads right wing to Hutchings for 3. In and out, no good. In the middle of the paint for the board is Kevin DeVargas. Sends it to the timeline to Melendez. Stop and go dribble. Hasn't crossed the line yet. Going behind his back against Clay, who had just checked in. Bounce pass to the left side of the court to Villa. Villa at the time stripe now, backing out against Hutchings. Stop and go. Handoff going right to left to Monroe. To the left elbow. He was going to shoot, but then throws it back door, but over the head of his teammate, breaking left side of the rim, and sails to the baseline. Mateo Gwynn was tasting a chance to go to the hoop with it, but not when the ball is about 20 feet above your head.
He went just a second before the ball was going to get there. If he would have got it, maybe would have had a good chance to get a shot over, like you're right. It just sailed out of bounds, and that hit Pena.
6 turnover for Valley. Your Hobbs Eagles lead by 7. Pena with the basketball, 2:18 left in the half. Comes across the timeline with a big cushion provided by Abeda Jefferson. Screen up top from Turbiatis. Give it back to Jay Ivers for a 3 on the left side, but clinks out the front of the rim. Chased down on the near left sideline by Melendez, a guard, his first rebound. Kick out to Villa, left wing. Fade away 3, nothing but net. 5 points for Villa. That's the 4th tray for Valley. And Coach Ross wants to talk about it. Does not want Valley to get closer in this game as we head towards halftime. 1:59 left, second quarter. Hobbs 23, Valley 19. Back in 30 seconds on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page.
Attention oil patch companies. Is your team safety training ready to go on location? If you need SafeLand, CPR, and H2S training, Cannon Safety is who you need. They'll get you squared away with NCCER OQs and pipeline training. Cannon Safety has a variety of BW, Honeywell, H2S, and multi-gas personal monitors starting at $99. Nothing is more important than your company's safety. Don't waste any more time. Get a Cannon Safety professional on the job today. Google Cannon Safety Hobbs or call 575-738-0001.
Welcome back to the Metro Tournament for Albuquerque, and it is in Cibola. We've got a good one as Valley is pressing Hobbs. It is 23-19 right now with 2 minutes to go in this second quarter. And with the call, here is Ty Friend.
After a Hobbs Eagle timeout, coming across the timeline, dribbling through his legs is Lyric Soria, the sophomore. Bounce pass off to the right wing to Pena. Dump it low to Turriatas, right baseline now with the pivot. He's going to spin a little bit. Gets a triple team in the paint as he tried to reverse spin to the middle of the paint that time, and they called a foul. So I'll get the Eagles the basketball on the baseline. Looks like Melendez, the guard, was stepping down there to try to help out his teammates. First on him, third team foul against Valley. And now an inbound from the right baseline for Soria. Sends it back deep to Pena. Had to jump for it near the timeline. Gets a screen up top from Turriatas. Calls that one off, though, does Pena. Goes to the strong drive. Hippity hop to the right side of the paint. Throws a shot off the glass. Fading out of bounds with one hand that time and glances it in for two. There we go with 9 points for Pena, the biggest lead, our biggest point producer for the Eagles right now. They're up by 6, 25-19. 1:20 left, second quarter. In the front court, Melendez shake and bake to the right elbow. Puts it back up top to Monroe. Back over to Melendez on the right wing. Backs it out. Returns it to Monroe, who'll back it out to the timeline. Gets a good stop there by Hutchings. Unloads Melendez in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench far right. Now back to the time stripe, middle of the court on the Cibola logo. Crossing it through his legs against Turriatas. Doesn't go against him very much further. Underhands it back to Monroe. Top of the circle, cross over to his left hand. Jumps in the air, kick out left to Hermilio. Drives to the free throw line, fakes a jumper. Back to the left wing to Villa. He spins around with a 360, gives over to the left wing to DeVargas. Fadeaway three is no good. And there's big-time Pena high in the air for the rebound on the right block, his third board. Dribbles hard to their front court, top of the circle. To Turriatas on the left wing with a jab step. Returns to Pena, top of the arc. He'll back it out to the timeline. Give it over to Clay on the right wing. He jabs it a little bit. Trying to get the defense of Jefferson to move around a little bit. Screen from Turriatas. Spin move. Clay goes to the rack. Scoops it up. Gets hammered on the middle of the arm. Lays it off the glass for two. And the foul. Hitting him hard was Angelito Villa. A chance for a three-point play.
And the fact that he was able to maintain the ball with two guys around him, one on each side, and then be able to lay it up and put it in and get the foul, that is very progressive and very nice to see. He's got those mad skills.
Clay shooting 12 of 20 on the season for 60%. Eagles right now are 1 of 2. Both free throws attempted by Hodge earlier. And this rolls off the front of the rim after hitting the back of the rim. Has pulled down in the paint by Monroe, his third board. Gives it off to Melendez in the paint. He'll drive hard against Hutchings through the timeline with 15 seconds left in the half. Eagles by 8. Slowing it down just a little bit to run clock. Handoff on the dribble to Monroe on the near side. Dribbling behind his back. Hutchings gets a piece of it. Lost it for a second. Regained by Monroe. Double team with Pena now. Ball came loose again. Picked up by Monroe. Comes to the right wing. Goes up a half-cocked shot. He didn't even know what the time was left. He got his head down and just kind of threw it up in the air and didn't even really see the rim. It comes way short. Coach Ross thought that might be a double dribble, but they don't call that. But the game will finish at half. Eagles up by 8, 27-19. Eagles going to go into a halftime lead like last night. They were up 10 on number 1 Volcano Vista. And we'll be back in 3 minutes of the Hobbs Eagle halftime show live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
Oh, yes! Strike! Good times, baby! Definitely good, healthy fun with family and friends is what you get at Bel Air Bowl, the only place to bowl for nearly 100 miles around. You can grab a snack and bowl, play pool, or even video arcade. They're the perfect place for a birthday party. Bel Air Bowl has got you covered and can make it happen. Find them on Facebook or Google Bel Air Bowl. They are located behind Big Lots in the Bel Air Shopping Center. Where we roll at Bel Air Bowl. Eunice Pump and Supply has been around for over 30 years and is excited to continue their services to the community. They take pride in their employees and their hard work and dedication, and most importantly, take pride in the youth of Lee County. Eunice Pump and Supply is a proud supporter of all Lee County athletics and academics. Eunice Pump and Supply, 1310 Avenue O in Eunice, another proud supporter of Lee County athletics.
NMR Pipeline is a highly qualified, dedicated company, leading in performance with management and employees who've provided over 45 years of service in pipeline maintenance and construction within the oil and gas industry. NMR Pipeline, 300 South Main in Eunice, or call 394-0144 for more information. Again, 394-0144. NMR Pipeline is proud to be a supporter of all Lee County athletics and academics. Badger, the largest hydrovac and excavation company in New Mexico and Texas, is hiring. CDL drivers start at $27 per hour, plus all major benefits for you and the family, and a 401k. Apply today at 2814 West County Road in Hobbs. Badger is an equal opportunity employer.
Did you know that Lee County State Bank drive-up lanes are open late? Interactive tellers give you convenient, extended drive-through hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Lee County State Bank ITMs feature a screen which connects you to a live teller inside the bank to assist you with your banking transactions. No need to rush to the bank with Lee County State Bank's extended ITM drive-through lanes conveniently located near you in Lovington, Hobbs, and Eunice. Lee County State Bank, member FDIC.
First America Bank believes success comes from building personal, long-lasting relationships that are built on mutual trust. We take a consultative-driven approach to get to know you and your business. We offer a wide array of banking and digital solutions, plus more than a century of local experience. So, with First American Bank as your trusted partner, when you succeed, we do too. Find out how we can get it done for you. First American Bank, local first since 1903. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Cibola High School here in Albuquerque. Second round of the APS Metro Tournament. The Eagles are the only team outside of Albuquerque or Rio Rancho at the tournament, both on the boys bracket and the girls. So that's pretty exciting that Hobbs representing Southeast New Mexico and the state outside of the Duke City corridor, as they lead here at halftime 27-19 over Valley, a team that used to play in the same division as the Eagles in the 5A. And, of course, dropped down to the 4A a few years ago and have been doing pretty well in the championship game last year. Losing by just 1 point to Highland. Of course, they've had 4 other championships, 3 in 2020, 2019, 2014, then going all the way back to 1996. So 4 championships, and then also lost to Hobbs in 2000 by 11 points. That's back when they were in the same division. So Hobbs picking up that win, again, 25 years ago. So regardless, close game for pretty much most of that first half. The Eagles, in terms of the turnovers, we saw a little bit more than we should have seen against Valley, possibly was 6 in that first half. But we saw some good scoring on the second quarter for Abraham Payton, getting all 9 of his points in that second quarter to give the Eagles a little bit of a cushion. But the three-point shots are dropping, Ron, so far. 4 3-pointers coming from 4 different players for the Eagles. Braddock Beatty hit one, Pena hit one, so did Hutchings and Turbiatis. So that's good to see, strokes coming from all different people on the outside of the circle.
Yeah, and Braddock Beatty hit it from downtown, almost near the time stripe line. Was so close to it that he probably could have just backed up just a step and been able to touch it. But still, it is all about trying to get things going for the Hobbs Eagles, wanting to get those three-pointers to drop, and they're definitely getting some good looks. Some open looks as well, and I think the other thing is they have that height advantage for against Valley, so that is giving them a little bit more of a courage to be able to put up those threes or at least get those baskets in.
I think Hobbs is not really happy about the number of offensive points so far because they're used to scoring 65.6 a game. Yeah. Right now it's at 27. But you got to remember, too, Valley, a pretty tough squad. They only give up about 56 points a ball game, so they're used to keeping teams at lower numbers, although Hobbs has only been giving up 53. And right now, that's pretty much the mark that they're looking at with the Cougars. They're below the average that Hobbs gives up, at 19. So Hobbs doing some good defense out there at this point. Eagles, on the average, score 12 more points than Valley does throughout the season, and they give up 3.4 points less than what Valley does. So Hobbs has them on paper before this game, but right now it's more important they're up by 8.
Exactly. Right now I think it was just the fact that the first half was going to be filling each other out, being able to see what they can and can't do. You know now that at least that Monroe is the three-point shooter. He loves to get on the perimeter, be able to get outside. Also, he drives the lane as well, so he's not just content with those three-point shots. He will drive the lane if he needs to and be able to get it in, but still, it is one of those situations now where you're going to see some adjustments in the second half. But plus, we didn't see the starters for Hobbs during the middle of that first quarter, so that made a difference as well.
You mentioned Monroe. He came into the game as a leader for three-pointers for Valley with 27. Villa and Abeda both have 11 on the season, so those 3 guys in double digits. So right now he's added 2 more to his numbers. Monroe now with 29 trays on the season. Looking at Valley Vikings and their numbers in the first half, it was Carter Monroe, the leader, 10 points, 2 trays, 2 for 2 from the line, and 3 rebounds. Angelito Villa hit a tray. He had 5 points in the first half. Christopher Melendez hit a tray for 3. And Isaiah Abeda Jefferson went 1 of 2 from the line for 1 point. So they had 4 3-pointers converted, 2 for Monroe, 1 apiece for Villa and Melendez. They were 3 of 4 from the line for 75%, had the same amount of turnovers as Hobbs with 6. But the Hobbs Eagles did beat them on the boards. Hobbs had 15 rebounds, just 7 for Valley. Their leader was Monroe with 3 in the first half. And for your Hobbs Eagles, getting close to double digits, Abraham Pena, all 9 of his points coming in the second quarter. He had 1 tray and 3 rebounds in that first half of action. It was Jairus Turbiatis with 7 points in just 1 quarter. He had a tray and 2 boards. After that, a big drop-off in scoring, but Braddock Beatty hit that big tray you said at the top of the arc. He had 3. It was also Josiah Clay hitting a bucket and a rebound for him as well. Parker Henderson with 2 points and 5 rebounds. He's the top boardman for the Eagles. Peyton Hodge went 1 for 2 from the line for 1 point. And Trey Hutchings hit a tray for 3. So Hobbs did manage to get a total of 7 scores in the first half compared to just 4 scores for the Valley Vikings. Eagles only had 3 free throw opportunities. They were 1 of 3 from the line for 33%. Again, we said they had the same turnovers as Valley, 6 and 6 there. But Hobbs out rebounding them 15-7. Top boardman again, Henderson with 5, 3 for Pena, and 2 for Turbiatis and Hodge. So that's the tail of the tape at this point. The Eagles were up 15-12 in the first quarter and outscored Valley 12-7 in the second. It's 27-19, and we'll come back in 1 minute as you're listening live to Hobbs Eagle basketball at the APS Metro Tournament in Albuquerque. Stay with us.
Lasco Construction is a proud partner in education in Lee County. Lasco Construction is your hometown construction company. Lasco Construction encourages you and business owners to support Tatum, Jow, Lovington, Eunice, and Hobbs businesses. Buy as much as you can locally, which is why Lasco Construction always supports the youth of Lee County. Lasco Construction supports you. Call 393-9161 for all your construction needs. Support your community.
It's me, Sammy Sludge. I'm the sludge inside your pipes, your toilet pipes, bathroom sink pipes, even your kitchen sink pipe. I'm inside and outside causing all sorts of problems. Plumbing problems? Call the Master. Master Plumbers, serving households in Lee County and West Texas for over 20 years. Tell Sammy Sludge you called the Master. Master Plumbers, 397-9385.
Welcome back to the APS Metro Tournament here in Albuquerque. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner with you. Manuel back at the station as your Eagles lead over Valley 27-19. We'd like to thank our sponsors, keeping this free on the internet and the radio for our fans there throughout southeast New Mexico, and a lot of people tuning in from around New Mexico and the country as well.
Exactly, and we'd like to thank Lee County State Bank, IPS, LECO, Thriftway, TDS, Lavelle Insurance, Eunice Pump and Supply, Lasco Construction, NMJC, Forest Tire, Albertsons Market, XL Energy, First American Bank of Hobbs, and NMR Pipeline. Thank you very much for putting us on the air.
We mentioned that Valley doesn't do a lot of scoring throughout the season. They only average 52.9 points a game, currently at 5-5 on the season. But they're also pretty good with the basketball, though. They've only averaged close to 10 turnovers a ball game, 9.8 to be exact. So they do take care of the ball. They do get about 7.6 steals a contest as well. The thing about it is, against high-powered teams like Hobbs, and again, you saw that game with Volcano Vista, they got blown out 30+. Sometimes the potent offenses are going to take you apart if you can't put things in the basket. But right now, a low-scoring game.
Exactly, and I expect to see Hobbs doing a little more pressuring. We've also seen a whole lot of fouls on either side so far.
It will be Eagles basketball starting with an 8-point lead here in the third quarter. Payne gets over to Hodge on the right wing, throws a hard one down to Henderson on the right block. Triple team against him. Ball knocked out of his hands. Coming from behind to knock it out was Carter Monroe. And boy, you saw all those white jerseys try to go up against the Giant in the paint there.
I know, always getting double teamed, and that's the price of his height.
The inbound gets tipped in the air. Henderson got it blocked out a little bit, taken away by Christopher Melendez. 7th Eagle turnover. Melendez in the front corner on the right wing, and Beatty got behind him and then tried to reach from behind his back that time, pickpocketing him. They call the reach foul on Beatty. That'll be his third personal, first team foul. Eagles had 8 fouls in the first half and 5 for the Vikings.
Trying to be aggressive, get that ball back, just couldn't do it, and instead got called for the foul.
Inbound to the backcourt to Melendez, taken on by Braddock Beatty, keeping right with him as he comes across the timeline to the near right side. Throws it up top to Hermilio. Over to the left wing to Beta Jefferson. Underhands it to the top of the arc to Monroe. Fadeaway three off the left rim, no good. Ball loose and chased down for the Eagles by Turbiatis, his third board. Sends it into the front court. Faking a three right corners. Beatty goes baseline right to Henderson coming down the lane. There's your force over the top of the rim from a double hand dunk perspective.
Exactly. Drove the lane on that one. Got it from Braddock and definitely got the advantage on that one. Nobody around him, so he was able to dunk it with no problem.
That's what you call moving without the basketball. They do call a foul on the inbound as the Eagles in the full court pressure. They charge that one to Pena, his third personal, second team foul already early here in this third quarter. It's 29-19. Eagles got their biggest lead now of 10. Quickly a pass down to the right baseline. Beta Jefferson fadeaway 15-footer and swishes it through. He's got three, and Braddock tried to get out there Beatty to put a hand in his face a little bit too late. 29-21, a long pass coming from the half court from Pena down to Parker Henderson, able to save it back to Braddock Beatty on the left wing, and to Pena at the top of the arc. Sends it over to Turbiatis right side, dumping it low to Henderson. He goes up strong, misses a tip shot over the right rim, and taken underneath the hoop on the rebound by Monroe, his fourth board. So the touches aren't there yet. Pass to the left wing in the front court to Villa. Villa tries to get it down low. It's stripped. Turbiatis with the steal on the far right sideline. That'll be turnover number 7. Both teams with 7 turnovers so far in this game. To Hodge in the left wing. Fadeaway three off the side of the rim. No good. Turbiatis pulls it down in the left corner. His fourth board. Back to Hodge in the left wing. Hippity hop. Gives it back to Turbiatis, left side of the court. He comes down the lane. Reverse layup right. Misses. Gets his own rebound and goes back up strong with one hand. Shot puts it off the right glass for 2. He's got 9 points and 5 boards.
That's determination right there.
31-21. Eagles by 10. Pass across the timeline to Jefferson. Dribbles behind his back. Middle of the lane. Fade away from the free throw line. Bounce around and good. And that's the 4th point of the second half for Beta Jefferson with a total of 5. 31-23. Eagles by 8. And now we've got a technical foul. Yelling from behind the referee was Ize Panis, the coach of Valley, screaming at the official. And that'll be the Eagles shooting 2. Coach Panis still pointing on the court and screaming about something. I don't know what he's mad about. I did see a situation where Parker Henderson was running up the court on the previous play and fell, tripped on himself, and kind of reached out and kind of accidentally shoved a player from Valley forward. Refs didn't see it, but I don't know if he's yelling about that or not. But that's been about a minute ago. But
exactly, yeah. I was kind of surprised that Henderson didn't get a tech or at least a personal foul on that one as well. But still, I know he didn't mean to. It just he lost his balance somewhere along the way.
First free throw is good for Pena on the tech. That does go against the team as well. 1 technical foul there. So Pena now with 10 points. Eagles are now 2 of 5 from the free throw line. It makes his second as well. Pena now with 11. So double digits. First double-digit score for the Eagles. Carter Monroe with 10 for the Valley Vikings. Back to a 10-point lead, 33-23. Hobbs basketball after a tech at the time zone. Henderson's going to take a breather. On the court now is Clay. Turbiatis stays out there, also checking in for Hobbs. Trey Hutchings. Braddock Beatty will be the inbound man at half court, and Pena in the backcourt. Going to be an extended 2-3 zone to the half court for Valley as Pena will bring it across. 5:45 left, third quarter, Eagles by 10. Dribbles to the right wing, hand off to Clay, up top now. Flicks it over to Beatty, top of the circle, back to Pena right wing, drives baseline, goes up strong with a double-hand dunk. He saw an opening and went hard for it, slammed it through. As the Eagles now getting big production from Pena, he's got 13. 35-23 to the other end. Shot from the right side of the paint. No, pulling it down at the last second was a Beta Jefferson. Does it up top. Gives it off to his Angelito Villa. Over to the right wing is DeVargas getting the pass. Little head fake there. Unloads right side again to Jefferson. Comes to the middle of the lane and kicks out left side to Monroe. Back to the timeline to Melendez, guarded by number 1 Braddock Beatty. Both number 1s facing each other. Unloads with the pass to Beta Jefferson left wing. Up top to Emilio, fakes a 3. Good D by Clay. Pass back to the timeline to a Beta Jefferson. Sends it to the right side of the court to Melendez. Crossover to his left hand. Back up top to Beta Jefferson. Clay's going to step out on him at the timeline. A lot of pressure being applied. He tried to reach out, and unfortunately, the dribbler came into him, and he kind of slapped at the hip of a Beta Jefferson, but it looked like Jefferson causing the contact there, but unfortunately, Clay gets busted for it.
Yeah, either way, it was quick moving and just wasn't able to get around was Clay, trying to get the ball, though, but it still got the player.
3 fouls for Clay, 3 for the team as well here in the third quarter. Eagles had their biggest lead, though, of 12 points here with 4:45 remaining. Inbound to the free throw line to Beatty, or correction, to Melendez. Sends it down to the left corner to DeVargas. Fakes a 3, kick back up top to Melendez. Over to left wing to DeVargas. Cross court right to Melendez again. Now back to the timeline. Out the retreat dribble. Picking him up on D is Beatty. Slides to the right on the dribble. Handed off to Monroe. Drives the left side of the lane. Comes down with the reverse layup. Left side. Rolls around the rim and good. Monroe's first bucket here in the third quarter. He's got 12 to lead the Vikings. Eagles by 10 though. In the front court, Pena, stop and go dribble to the left corner. Pivots and spins to the baseline. Slings it down to the right corner to Hutchings. Debatey on the right wing. Up top to Clay. Fakes a three. Drives the lane. Hippity hop. Reverse layup. Right side and scores. Beautiful play by Clay. He just used the gaps he saw and some big steps to get it to the hole. He's got 4. 37-25, matching the biggest lead of 12 now, the Eagles. In the front court, the handoff up top to Monroe. Fakes a three, gets Turbiatas up in the air, but strips the ball out of his hands on the steal. 8 turnover, sends it ahead to Pena, backdoor to Turbiatas on the give and go. He was going to dunk, but just sends it over the rim for 2. And a timeout for the Vikings. 11 points for Turbiatas, 13 for Pena. Eagles now up at their biggest lead, Ron, of 14.
And I expected to see that. The adjustments in the half were going to come back. Hobbs was going to be a little more aggressive, be able to play more. They're getting the open shots that they wanted to. They're using that height advantage and definitely taking advantage of that. And, of course, have a 12-point lead, or actually 14-point lead now, and that is a good thing.
39-25, Eagles up here in the third. We'll be back in 30 seconds live on the Hobbs Eagle Network from the APS Metro Tourney.
Forest Tire is celebrating 80 years in business. There's always another task to tackle, but making your to-do list disappear generates a ton of wear and tear on your tires. Do more for more miles with the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire. Whether it's hauling your boat up to the lake or driving through the job site, Michelin designed a tire that's tough enough for anything. Stop in today for the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire and get back to task mastering. Forest Tire, keeping you rolling since 1944.
Back to third quarter action, APS Metro Tournament, second round. Your Eagles up 39-25, and Ron, 12-6 scoring differential. Eagles doubling up on Valley here in the third.
Yeah, and I've noticed that Valley's trying to get some three-point shooting going on. Of course, their height being limited to the way it is slowing them down there. They did drive the lane with that last shot, but still trying to get those three-pointers.
Eagles go with a 2-1-1. Or make it a 3-1-1 full court pressure trap situation. Couple of passes getting it across for Valley. In the front court is Melendez. Taking on Sori, who just checked in. Sends it down to a wide open three-point shooter in the left corner. Not the guy you want to let shoot. He's a leading three-point shooter for the team. That's Monroe. Drills it through the hole. He's got 15. That's his third tray of the ball game. 39-28, 11-point lead for the Eagles. Top of the arc, Clay. Spots up a three himself off the back of the rim. Underneath the hoop to pull it down, the little guard. That is Christopher Melendez, his second board. Outlet to the near sideline to DeVargas. Throws a hard one across court to the left and sails to the Valley bench. Tried to get over to Angelito Villa, but it hits the bench instead for the 9th Valley Viking turnover.
It went through his hands, just could not handle that pass and went out of bounds. So turnover for Valley.
Down to 3 minutes left, third quarter. Pena in the front court. Hands it off up top with an 11-point lead. Gives it to Soria. Coming back to get it is Pena. Top of the circle. A screen from Hutchings, but he throws the knee out on the screen. The one that has the brace on it, and you cannot move your body, extend it past your structure there. And that time he got the foul on the screen. So Hutchings, his first personal, 4th team foul. One away from the double bonus again here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and the sophomore was trying to figure out what he did wrong, but just can't figure it out.
Inbound to Beta Jefferson on the right wing. Getting some pressure there from Clay. Crossover move. Stays top of the circle. Bounce it in the paint to the right block. Double head pump there. And throwing the shot off the right glass is Villa. He's got 7. 39-30. Eagles by 9, the single-digit lead. Coming across the timeline is Clay. Slowing it down to set up the offense. Coming to get the ball on the handoff is Pena, top of the circle. Flicks it left to Hodge. Hodge comes right circle, turns back to the top of the arc, throws up a three, hits the bottom of the backboard left side. Rebound, though, by Clay. He tries to go back up with a double clutch. They're going to call the block, and the jump ball. Keeping a hand on the basketball that time in the middle of the paint was Monroe, and able to tie him up in the air, and they call the jump. That will be possession arrow back to Valley.
And we were talking about the fact, or thinking about the fact that Hobbs needs more rebounds or steals. One of those two things to get the possession back, be able to get more chances at the offense.
And that was close to being a steal that time for Clay. Ball was still being handled by the rebounder Monroe, but he came and just ripped it, so pretty much giving him a board instead of a steal. Pass to the timeline, converted to Monroe. He tries to throw it down to the baseline. The ball gets knocked out, and bodies are flying. Looks like Monroe, after passing, got pushed by the Eagles. He goes on the floor, sliding across the baseline on his back.
Well, they were trying to set him up for a shot. He was going to be able to get it. If he had it, he was going to lay it up to the left of the basket, but instead he ends up getting knocked down, or at least falls down, and goes out of bounds, but still gets the penalty.
Jairus Turbiatis on the foul, his first 15 foul, unfortunately for the Eagles. That's a double bonus situation for Carter Monroe now, who's 2 for 2 from the line. First shot is up and good. He leads the team with 16 points in this game. In fact, 4 for 5 are the Valley Vikings for 80%.
Although now the Vikings are in bonus.
Second shot off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound by Turbiatis. Board. Outlet to the timeline to Soria. He'll come across with an 8 in the third. Gives it off to Hernandez, who checked in on the right wing. Up top to Turbiatis. Soria dribbling left through his legs. Top of the circle now. Gets a 3-2 zone. Backs it out, trying to swat the ball. And a reach foul, Angelique. Soria kind of luring him out back of that three-point line. So B is going to get his third. Vikings.
They had a double team on him for a moment there, trying to get around it, but instead ended up getting fouled.
Looks like they're going to try to get a sub in. Coming on the court is Jose Hermilio, checking in for Villa, who just fouled his third time and has 7 points. Inbounding going to be Soria near the scorers table in front of the Hobbs bench. Bounce it to the time stripe to Clay in the front court. He wants to clear out a little bit, top of the arc. Still facing that zone. Unloads to Soria on the left side. Fakes a three a couple of times. Stayed back, and the sophomore makes Melendez pay for it. Drills the tray. Lyric Soria's first points. And then an inbound to the near sideline. Sliding across the floor on his stomach was Jairus Turbiatis. Couldn't quite get the steal on that one, but great effort there and getting some floor burns on that chest, I'm sure.
Exactly. Wanted to get the ball, but instead it just sails out of bounds.
5 trays for the Eagles after that hit for Soria. Hobbs by 11, 42-31. Into the backs it out to the timeline. Coming back to get it on the handoff is Jefferson. Drives the left side of the lane. They're going to say a hold foul as Hodge and Hernandez were trailing him on the dribble that time. So they're going to call the reach from behind against Hodge. His second. Still double bonus here for the Vikings, as that'll send Isaiah Abeda 1 of 2 from the line. And they are 5 of 7 from the charity stripe. Free throw up and good for Jefferson. He's got their leader right now, 16 for Monroe, 13 for Pena, 11 for Turbiatis. Second shot bouncing around the rim and good. He made his last 2 there. 7 points for Abeda Jefferson. Eagles by 9. Coming across the timeline, Peyton Hodge with the dribble. Real high dribble, too. Is Turbiatis up top to Hernandez. Wide open 3, but it clinks off the right rim, no good. That came out of nowhere that time. The rebound from Monroe, his 5th. Outlet to the time stripe to Melendez. He'll come across. Pass up top to Monroe. Backs into his defender, Soria on the right elbow. Kick it left wing to Melendez. Threads it down to the left block to Hermilio. Back to the left corner to Beta Jefferson in the paint with the dribble. Sliding left to right. Fires over to DeVargas right wing. To the right corner. Returns back deep to Melendez at the timeline. Guarded closely by Soria. And the handoff to Abeda Jefferson. Dribbling through his legs at the time stripe. Gives the ball to Monroe. Far left side. Spinning. Top of the circle. Going Clay and then backs it out. Turns to the timeline to Jefferson. Running clock to 35. Over to left wing to Monroe. Monroe gets picked up by Clay. Back to the timeline to Abeda Jefferson. Nobody looking to score here. So logo there for Siebel in the middle of the court. Gives it off to Melendez at the timeline. Stop it. Turbiatis picks him up. Returns to the time stripe to Abeda Jefferson. Actually strike here? It was a good question I have right now as Melendez gets a pass on the near right sideline. Clock down to 11 seconds. Return to the time stripe to Monroe. Kind of just wearing out the Eagles, but they're staying right with him. Dribbles to the top of the arc. Gives it off to Melendez. Pop a shot from the free throw line. Bounces around and no good. Rebound for the Eagles by Clay. And the buzzer sounds before he can take off a three-quarter court shot. All that clock running and no point production there in that last bit there, the third quarter.
Just could not find anything open at all. And Valley, though, trying their best, and it looked like after a moment they were discontent with getting the last shot and tried it, but just did not fall.
At the end of 3, your Eagles holding on to a 9-point lead, 42-33 over Valley in the second round of the APS Metro Tournament live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We're back.
Attention oil patch companies. Is your team safety training ready to go on location? If you need safe land, CPR, and H2S training, Cannon Safety is who you need. They'll get you squared away with NCCER OQs and pipeline training. Cannon Safety has a variety of VW, Honeywell, H2S, and multi-gas personal monitors starting at $99. Nothing is more important than your company's safety. Don't waste any more time. Get a Cannon Safety professional on the job today. Google Cannon Safety Hobbs or call 575-738-0001.
APS Metro Tournament second round. Exclusive coverage on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, and on the radio, Cool 95.7. Ty Friend and Ron Gunner here at Cibola High School. Second round consolation bracket, Hobbs Eagles leading 42-33. Eagles came in with the 11-2 record, Valley at 5-5. Of course, Hobbs number 2 in the Max Preps poll, and Valley number 7 in the 4A poll. And in that quarter, kind of a tight scoring number there.
Exactly was, and I was expecting to see Hobbs pull away a little bit better than they have. So far, they're still playing tit for tat with Valley, and the Vikings are taking advantage of it. Hobbs, though, needs to be a little more aggressive, I think.
15-14, Hobbs outscoring Valley in that third quarter. As we start the fourth, leading scorer Hobbs is 13 for Pena, 11 for Turbiatas, 16 for Valley's Monroe. Hobbs basketball, backdoor cut for Pena. He tries a wraparound pass down the right side of the lane, but it's taken away by Melendez. Eagles 8 turnover. Throws it ahead to a breaking Monroe for the layup with 2 hands on the right side. He's got 18. He's the leading scorer for both teams now. 42-35, a 7-point Eagle lead. Braddock Beatty across the time stripe, handing it off to Soria. Comes right, gives it to Pena. Over the left circle, flicks it off to Beatty. Beatty at the top of the arc, it's a 2-2-1. Finds Turbiatas left baseline, a 15-footer, and swishes it. Big shot for Jairus Turbiatas with 13, matching Pena's numbers now. 44-35, Eagles by 9. Stop and go for Melendez, taking on Soria. Hasn't crossed the time stripe yet, and finally does. Nice D by Soria. Pass off to the near sideline to Abeda Jefferson. Up top to Monroe. Fires a 3, a short shot off the front of the rim, no good. Parker Henderson rips it down for a 6th rebound. Over to Payton on the far right sideline. Tries to thread it down low to Soria, but throws it in traffic. Picked off by Carter Monroe. That's turnover number 9. Coming across the timeline is Melendez. Down the lane, lost the basketball. I think Beatty got a piece of it from behind. They're going to say that knocked out by Parker as he tried to step up in the paint to help out his teammate on the break that time down the paint. It will be Viley basketball on the right baseline underneath their hoop, down by 9. Inbounding will be Melendez. Or correction, that is Jefferson. 6:49 remaining. Inbound to the right corner to Monroe. Drives the lane. Tries to throw up a scoop shot. Turbiatas gets a piece of it, then pulls it down for the rebound. His 7th. After a cradle shot opportunity there. DePena at the timeline, gives to Beatty left wing, returns to Pena. In the front court near the over to the left wing to Soria. Henderson, double team, triple team against him now. Kick out to Soria, left corner with a jab step. Back to Henderson. 1-on-3, hook shot in the paint, and he goes up like a tree, swaying in the wind, and throws it through the hole. He's got 6.
A nice maneuver, got around quickly and was able to dunk it in. Oh, well, not dunk it, but get into the basket.
46-35, an 11-point Eagle lead. A timeout called for Valley, and they want to talk about breaking that press. 6:13 left, fourth quarter. It's Hobbs 46, Valley 35. Back in 30 seconds.
Oh, yes! Strike! Good times, baby! Definitely good, healthy fun with family and friends is what you get at Bel Air Bowl, the only place to bowl for nearly 100 miles around. You can grab a snack and bowl, play pool, or even video arcade. They're the perfect place for a birthday party. Bel Air Bowl has got you covered and can make it happen. Find them on Facebook or Google Bel Air Bowl. They are located behind Big Lots in the Bel Air Shopping Center. Where we roll at Bel Air Bowl.
Welcome back to the action right here on Cool 95.7. We're at the Metro Tournament here in Albuquerque, Cougar Town as we call it. And Hobbs is up right now by 11 over Valley Vikings, 46-35. We're in the fourth quarter right now with the call. Here he is, Ty Friend.
Here at Cibola High, second round of the APS Metro. Eagles with that 11-point lead. 2-2-1 trap. They'll get a long pass down to the corner for Valley left side. Armilia with the ball. Bounce pass it deep to the timeline. Wing to Abeda Jefferson. Returns to Melendez at the time stripe. They can't afford to run so much clock as they've been doing. They're down by 11. Up top to Villa. Villa back it out against Pena. He'll find Abeda Jefferson on the left wing. Post knocks the ball out of his hands off the dribble right to the Valley bench. I like how tight Soria's second half.
He has been, and luckily he has not been called for any fouls, but still very nice presence there on D.
Inbound to the backcourt to Melendez. He'll take on the other number 1 player, Beatty, to the left wing. Unloads the ball to Monroe, left corner. They're calling an off-ball foul in the lane. They're going to say Pena kind of just barely hip-checked or put it. Actually, kind of a tight call on that one. I'm not sure where they came up with that. And his fourth personal here in the fourth quarter of the first team. Pena's going to have to take a seat so he doesn't foul out as Clay will check in for him. And, boy, that was a tight call there.
It was.
Off ball, too.
Yeah, exactly, as the ball was getting into him.
Beta Jefferson inbound left baseline as a man wide open left corner. Monroe spots a three, clinks off the left rim. Chased down on the baseline. Looks like it went off the hands of Angelito Villa, but the official just kind of backs away from it on the base and asks for some help. It'll be Valley basketball underneath their hoop left side. Down by 11 to the Eagles. 5:39 remaining in the fourth. One hand football throw to half court, and there's the receiver for the football team for the Eagles and the interception. Braddock Beatty wanted to pick six, but he gets held on to as he tried to drive it down the lane. So a turnover for Valley on the football throw on the inbound from the baseline. As they'll get that foul on the guard, Christopher Melendez, the other number one, his second, first team foul on Valley in Hobbs basketball. Boy, he got up high in the air for that pickoff in space.
He did. Got it nicely, too, between two hands. Was going to be going to the basket. Melendez knew that. So there was no chance of him getting any points.
5:37 left, fourth quarter. Hobbs up 46-35. Come back with the action in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network.
Eunice Pump and Supply has been around for over 30 years and is excited to continue their services to the community. They take pride in their employees and their hard work and dedication, and most importantly, take pride in the youth of Lee County. Eunice Pump and Supply is a proud supporter of all Lee County athletics and academics. Eunice Pump and Supply, 1310 Avenue O in Eunice, another proud supporter of Lee County athletics.
Back live here at Cibola High School for the second round. Eagles trying to bracket, losing against this game. Will play the El Dorado. And that'll be on Friday night, though. They'll have a break tomorrow. Eagles will get the inbound up top to Parker Henderson in the front court. Gives it off to Turbiatis right next to him. Back to Parker right side. Then to Soria behind him in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench right. Return it back to Henderson. Sidewinder hook. Misses off in front of the rim. Gets his own. Another sidewinder. He's got 8 points and 7 rebounds now. Fourth quarter. 3-1-1. Full trap. Ball comes to the timeline to Villa with the pass. Dumps it in the paint. Dribbling out of traffic, Monroe. Kick it up top to Beta Jefferson for a fadeaway three. In and out, no good. And the sophomore Soria rips it down hard with two hands. His first rebound. Bring it across the timeline with the pass to Turbiatis on the left wing. Calling Beatty to come get it, but he fakes a handoff to him. Throws an alley-oop backdoor instead. And Anderson to throw his fingers over the rim and push it through the hole from the right. He gets 6 points in the fourth and a total now of 10. Going the other way, double clutch coming down the right side of the lane. Angelito Villa trying to take on Henderson to the rack. Kind of tiptoeing up in the air for him is Henderson. He said, what am I supposed to do? I'm kind of a tall kid here. I kind of try to block a shot and unfortunately got a foul on me, but they will call that on Parker. Just his first, though, second team foul, and that will send to the line Angelito Villa. He's yet to shoot. They are 6 of 8 as a team for 75%.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't leave his feet or anything. Most times it's because they land on the player as they're trying to make that shot. Yeah, Parker just stood there, made sure he blocked the shot, and what more could he do?
Wouldn't it be nice? You don't have to jump. You just get on your tiptoes, and you're still 7 to 8 feet with the big wingspan going up there. Unfortunately, the foul call there. Both free throws good for Villa. He's got 9 points, 2 for 2 on the line. Eagles still by 13. Their biggest lead has been 15 here in the fourth. Coming across the timeline, Soria up top to Clay. Dump it down to big man Henderson. Double team against him, and everybody's just ripping his arms off, and they're going to get a foul this time against, looked like Jose Jaramillo. Just kind of grabbed his claws into the biceps there of Henderson, kind of flipped him around a little bit. So they get the foul against the Vikings, his second team foul. Inbounding is Beatty from the left baseline. Send it back to Henderson, top of the arc. Dangerous over to pass to Turbiatis on the right wing. Puts his head down and goes hard to the rack. Little flick shot over the right rim and scores right next to it. He's got 15. 52-37, back to a 15-point Eagle lead, matching the best of the game. Getting through 2 defenders and a double dribble. Dribbled once, tried to step through Turbiatis and Soria on the near sideline, and then dribbled again. And so the turnover for that Viking player, Angelito Villa. He wasn't too happy about that, confused about the call. That will be the 11th turnover, which is 2 more than their average on the season. So Hobbs taking care of the defense. Clay will get the inbound left wing, fires the 3 off the back of the rim. Chased down to the right baseline, had to be saved by Monroe to his teammate on the far left sideline, Angelito Villa. Dribbles through traffic, now in the front court, taking on Beatty down the lane, right side. Tried to go backdoor on the bouncer, but threw it off the foot of Jose Hermilio on the left block. Gets kicked out of bounds for the 12th turnover.
Exactly, and Hobbs doing very well in the fourth quarter, making the most of their opportunities and be able to get those turnovers as well.
Eagles have a 10-4 run here in the fourth. In the front of the court now is Clay, top of the arc. Handoff to Soria. Bounce it to Beatty. Top of the circle. Fires up an NBA 3 after a screen from Parker Henderson. That got it open, and Beatty makes the Vikings pay for it. Second tray of the game for Beatty, and 6 trays for the Eagles. Long pass to the other end of Carter Monroe. Comes down the left lane. Tries to hand it off on the right block on the hippity-hop dribble. Hermilio, and he got hit in the face, it looks like. Poked in the eye, Carter Monroe, as he handed the ball off. Ball was booted out of bounds. I think it's going to go back to Valley, and still trying to get that eye open is Carter Monroe.
Yeah, first I thought it was his finger, but it looks like he did get something near the eye, and there was a lot of action going on over there. So I'm not surprised that something like that could happen.
Incoming now, the sub Kevin DeVargas checking in for Hermilio. It'll be Viking basketball on the right baseline. They'll have 4 loaded across the free throw line for the inbound. Into the right corner, Monroe, fadeaway 3 off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound for Beatty on the left block. That's his second board. He's going to sling it down court, left block to Hodge. Back door to Turbiatis. He goes up big and throws it through the hole. Turbiatis has 17, and a foul on top of that. Late foul hit him in the head as he went up with it. And that will be a foul on the Vikings, their third. And they'll charge that to DeVargas, his second. So a chance for a 3-point play for Jairus Turbiatis on the season. He is shooting 59% from the charity stripe, his first free throw of the game now.
That was a pass that Brock would be happy about for his brother to be able to do that so quickly and so cleanly.
As the free throw drops, 18 now for Turbiatis. He's the scoring leader. 58-37. Eagles by 21, their biggest lead of the ball game. They dump it down to the front court, left block, spin move to the left baseline to Villa. Tries a scoop shot over the front of the rim, misses it, goes back up on the reverse, can't get the drop, goes up again on the left side next to the rim and pulled down by Turbiatis as it dribbles off the iron. That's the 8th rebound for Turbiatis, looking for a double-double with 2 more boards. To Clay at the top of the arc with a head fake, goes to the rack, gets 2 defenders high up in the air and goes home for 2 with a finger roll on the right side. Clay now with 6 points. Eagles starting to rout this one, up by 23. In the backcourt, having trouble is Melendez. Clay almost gets the strip. Melendez beats him across, sends it over to Monroe, left wing, fakes a 3, and then gives it right back to Melendez on the left side.
Almost traveled.
Clock 2:30 left in the fourth. Eagles by 23. Stop and go dribble. Underhand pass to Monroe, top of the arc. Clay gets a swat at the ball, and they're going to call the reach foul on Josiah Clay. That's his 4th. And the 3rd team foul, so still 2 fouls away from the double bonus. But now you mentioned one of the Beatties, and he's coming on, the quarterback. The brother of Braddock is on the court now. It's Brock Beatty as he checks in. Turbiatis takes a seat. And Turbiatis looks like it'll be his last action of this game. 18 points and 8 rebounds for Jairus. Great game for him for the Eagles. Inbound to Melendez. Bounce pass into the front court. Left wing to Villa. Cross court right back to Melendez on the give and go. Dribbling through his legs. Backs out as Pena steps right out on him. Screen from Monroe. Monroe gets the pass as he slides right. Fade away 3 on the right side off the back of the rim. No good. Pena in transition off the rebound is 4. Into the front court. A screen from Beatty to the free throw line. Dribbles out up top of the arc. And he wants to set up the offense. Finds Hodge on the left wing. Bounce pass to Beatty on the left block. Beatty spinning left. Going to the rack. Gets hit as the ball hits underneath the rim. And that'll be a foul as Brock Beatty gets a chance. I should mention the first names because his brother is still in there as well, Braddock.
Exactly. Braddock and Brock both on the court right now. And that was a nice shot. Just get it underneath. Hit the bottom of the basket. But he will get 2 shots on the charity strike.
Carter Monroe's first personal 4-team foul. As I believe this is Beatty's first free throw attempt. Yep, it is, of the season. And I said that, and it was an air ball, unfortunately.
Yeah, nothing hit at all. So hopefully he'll adjust the second one, be able to get that one in. But, yeah, it needs to work on those shots, definitely.
So Beatty will get 1 more free throw opportunity. He's kind of laughing right now and cocked his head back just a bit. I think he's going to concentrate on this second one to get a point in the book for him. Second shot is up, bounces off the front of the rim, no good. Rebound on the right block. Pivoting is Monroe, his 6th rebound. Give it off to Melendez. Clock down to 1:45 remaining. Eagles by 23. He'll take on Amari McGahey, who just checked in to the right wing. Dribbling through his legs on the near sideline, uses up the dribble. Dangerous throw back to DeVargas at the timeline, guarded by Brock Beatty. Dribbles top of the arc, back to the timeline, hands it off to Monroe on the left wing. Clay sliding with him as he comes up top off the dribble, gives it off to Jefferson left wing. There's Clay to switch off on him now. He'll back it out to the scorer's table and running the clock, which is not helping the Vikings, down by 23. To the top of the arc and down the lane goes Abeta Jefferson. Kick out left elbow to DeVargas. Back deep again to Carter Monroe. Dribbles through his legs, continues on the left side of the lane. Double clutch scoop and scores off the left glass. Brock tried to block it, but he still puts it through anyway. 20 for Monroe. 60-39. Eagles by 21. In the front court, Clay gets a pass in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench on the right side, dribbling behind his back. Screen from Beatty. Drives the lane, reverse slam with his left hand, or actually two-hand push shot, and scores off that left glass. Clay now with 8 points. It's 62-39. Clock down to 40. Long pass to the other end, saved in the left corner by Villa. In the paint to Monroe, and gets hip-checked by Brock Beatty, the foul. Didn't get a chance to shoot, did Monroe. But it will be a foul nonetheless for Brock Beatty, his first, and the 14th foul, one away from the double bonus.
Both are one away from the double bonus, and with 38.7 seconds remaining, it may not be a factor after all.
Coach Ross will go to his bench and bring back on the court Amron Wheeler. Hutchings will return as well, and Hernandez. As Josiah Clay will finish, Pena will finish as well, and Hodge. Pena will finish with 13, Clay with 8, and Hodge with 1. 62-39 Eagles, 38 seconds left in the ball game. Bounce pass to the right block on the inbound to William Bradford, who just checked in. Returns it back deep to Devin Marquez, another sub on the right wing. Gives it off to Ivan Jaquez on the right side. Kick up top to Gonzalez against Magehe. Give it off to Jaquez on the right wing. Cross court left to Brito. Up top to Beta, or make that Jaquez. Throws up a three out the front of the rim. Ball loose. Pulled down in the right corner by Brito. Kick it out to the right wing to Bradford. A three off the mark. Front of the rim. Rebound Amron Wheeler. He'll toss it ahead to a breaking Hernandez. Coast to coast. Laid up with two hands off the left side. Count it. Jamin Hernandez, his first bucket. 64-39. Back to a 25-point lead. In the front court, down to left wing to Gabriel Gonzalez. Does not have time to shoot before the buzzer. That's a final. Your Hobbs Eagles victorious, 64-39 over Valley, winning the second round of the APS Metro Tournament. They'll run their record at 12-2 on the season. Valley goes under 500 at 5-6. We'll take a 3-minute break, come back with the Hobbs Eagle postgame show live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page.
NMR Pipeline is a highly qualified, dedicated company, leading in performance with management and employees who've provided over 45 years of service in pipeline maintenance and construction within the oil and gas industry. NMR Pipeline, 300 South Main in Eunice, or call 394-0144 for more information. Again, 394-0144. NMR Pipeline is proud to be a supporter of all Lee County athletics and academics. Badger, the largest hydrovac and excavation company in New Mexico and Texas, is hiring. CDL drivers start at $27 per hour, plus all major benefits for you and the family, and a 401k. Apply today at 2814 West County Road in Hobbs. Badger is an equal opportunity employer.
Did you know that Lee County State Bank drive-up lanes are open late? Interactive tellers give you convenient, extended drive-through hours Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Lee County State Bank ITMs feature a screen which connects you to a live teller inside the bank to assist you with your banking transactions. No need to rush to the bank with Lee County State Bank's extended ITM drive-through lanes conveniently located near you in Lovington, Hobbs, and Eunice. Lee County State Bank, member FDIC.
First American Bank believes success comes from building personal, long-lasting relationships that are built on mutual trust. We take a consultative-driven approach to get to know you and your business. We offer a wide array of banking and digital solutions, plus more than a century of local experience. So, with First American Bank as your trusted partner, when you succeed, we do too. Find out how we can get it done for you. First American Bank, local first since 1903. Member FDIC.
Lasco Construction is a proud partner in education in Lee County. Lasco Construction is your hometown construction company. Lasco Construction encourages you and business owners to support Tatum, Jow, Lovington, Eunice, and Hobbs businesses. Buy as much as you can locally, which is why Lasco Construction always supports the youth of Lee County. Lasco Construction supports you. Call 393-9161 for all your construction needs. Support your community.
It's me, Sammy Sludge. I'm the sludge inside your pipes, your toilet pipes, bathroom sink pipes, even your kitchen sink pipe. I'm inside and outside causing all sorts of problems. Plumbing problems? Call the Master. Master Plumbers, serving households in Lee County and West Texas for over 20 years. Tell Sammy Sludge you called the Master. Master Plumbers, 397-9385.
Forest Tire is celebrating 80 years in business. There's always another task to tackle, but making your to-do list disappear generates a ton of wear and tear on your tires. Do more for more miles with the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire. Whether it's hauling your boat up to the lake or driving through the job site, Michelin designed a tire that's tough enough for anything. Stop in today for the Michelin Defender LTX MS tire and get back to task mastering. Forest Tire, keeping you rolling since 1944.
Attention oil patch companies. Is your team safety training ready to go on location? If you need safe land, CPR, and H2S training, Cannon Safety is who you need. They'll get you squared away with NCCER OQs and pipeline training. Cannon Safety has a variety of BW, Honeywell, H2S, and multi-gas personal monitors starting at $99. Nothing is more important than your company's safety. Don't waste any more time. Get a Cannon Safety professional on the job today. Google Cannon Safety Hobbs or call 575-738-0001.
Welcome back to Cibola High School here in Albuquerque. We just finished the second round of the APS Metro Tournament. Your Hobbs Eagles victorious over Valley, 64-39, winning by 25. Running their record of 12-2 on the season. The Eagles, Valley dropping to 5-6. And Ron, Hobbs had this in hand at halftime. They were up by a score of, by a good margin at that point, up 15-12 in the first quarter, 27-19 at the half. So it was a low-scoring game, but they were up by 8 at that point. They were up by 10 against Volcano Vista last night, but then Hobbs really started to put it on. They got 15 in that third quarter, 15-14, but then in that fourth quarter is where they really dominated, 22-7 or 22-6 in the fourth quarter, just completely annihilating their opponent.
Yeah, they did, and definitely Hobbs. Again, I think it was just a simple matter of being able to go out there, see what the Vikings were going to be able to do, and adjusting to that as well. The first half was low scoring, just didn't quite try to do too much where the Hobbs Eagles, but definitely got some starters out there, actually some bench players out there for some time, and didn't really put them out there until late in the fourth quarter when the game was pretty much in hand. And in the meantime, though, yeah, we had saw some nice adjustments for Parker Henderson and the rest of them. Of course, Tribiantis always giving his A game no matter where he's at or who he's playing against.
Let's look at the numbers in this ball game. Only one in double digits for Valley. In fact, they only had 4 scores in this game. Carter Monroe, he finished with 20 points and 6 rebounds. He was 3 of 4 from the charity stripe and hit a couple of trays. Now, he came into the game as the best three-point shooter on the team, as he was well ahead of his teammates. He had, I believe, 27 three-point shots converted before this game, added 2 more tonight. But still, those are few and far between. He had 2 in the first quarter and 1 in the third quarter. So he did finish with 3 trays in the ball game. But good game for him regardless, as he finished again with 20. Getting close to double digits, Angelito Villa, he had 9 points, perfect on the line, 2 for 2, and had 1 tray to his name. It was Isaiah Beta Jefferson with 7 points. He went 3 for 4 from the line. Christopher Melendez hit a tray for 3, and that's all the scoring, those 4 scores for the Valley Vikings. They did go 8 of 10 from the charity stripe for 80%. They had 5 3-pointers in the game, again, 3 of those from Monroe. And they were out-rebounded badly by the Eagles, 29-14. Eagles doubling +1 in terms of the boards, although Monroe was the leader with 6 and Villa 3 for the Vikings. So that's the numbers for Valley. And I should mention one other thing, too. They had 12 turnovers, about 3 more than they normally get this season. So the Hobbs Eagles taking care of business defensively against Valley.
And they did, too. And it was very nice to see a strong finish for the Hobbs Eagles, being able to press. And, again, I thought they were going to be pressing more in the second half. They did. They didn't do so as much. They were doing a little bit of inconsistency as far as press to throw off the Vikings. But still, nevertheless, they employed that, got some other players in as well, and was able to get this consistency that they wanted to see throughout this season.
Eagles on their side of the coin offensively. They get 3 in double figures. Jairus Turbiata's great game for him with 18 points and 8 rebounds. He opened up the first quarter with a tray and then dumped in a bunch more 6 or make it 7 buckets after that, the 2-point variety, and was 1 for 1 from the line. Again, 8 rebounds as well, just 2 boards away from a double-double in this contest. Abraham Pena finishing with 13 points. Kind of a quiet late part of the second half. He didn't score very much as the game progressed, but still, there he is again. Doesn't score a lot, but double digits. You'll take that from any player, won't you? 13.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You will, and definitely improvement from last night. We both agreed about that one as well. We wanted to see Henderson, when he's getting those rebounds, use both hands. He was using one hand last night, and he did get one in as far as being able to get that dunk in. That was a nice one. Very, very athletic, and we want to see more of that from Parker Henderson as well as Pena.
Yeah, talking about Pena first, though, in terms of his points, he had 13 for the entire game. That's how many points he had in the first quarter last night, and so didn't get as many as he did last night with 16, but still was pretty consistent, especially in the second quarter, where 9 of his 13 points are put in the books for Pena. He also went 2 for 2 on the line, hit a tray, and again had 4 rebounds for the Eagles. I believe that's the same number he had last night on the glass for Hobbs. Parker Henderson, who you just mentioned, with 10 points, and boy, what a great, was it the fourth quarter? I think he had all 6 of the 10 points there. Really got into a groove there, started to use his size, little hook action over the rim, and also had 7 rebounds, and you talked about him getting more aggressive as they went along there. I did notice, too, they were starting to get it down to the low post quite a bit as well. They saw the size advantage that the Eagles had there, the 7-footer, and I think Coach Ross made sure his players on the perimeter were getting that down low.
And I also noticed that the Vikings would always double team him when he's underneath the basket. But there was, sometimes even triple team, but there was one time when he was underneath the basket, they were inbounding, Hobbs was, and he ended up backing out as far as to the arc and got the ball and was able to pass it off. But still, he saw that he was going to be double teamed, maybe even triple teamed. And again, he said, you know what, let's go ahead and move it back to the arc, get the ball moved around, and see if I can get back in there to work it in for another nice bucket.
Josiah Clay finishing with 8 points, very consistent ball from him tonight. He had 3 rebounds, went 0 for 1 from the charity stripe. Braddock Beatty hit 2 trays for 6 points, 2 of the 6 that the Eagles got in this game, and also 2 rebounds. He had a nice battle going on with the other number 1, Christopher Melendez. Those guys going back and forth throughout the ball game. Lyric Soria coming off the bench for a tray. He had 3 points and a rebound, playing some tough pressure defense on the perimeter against that number 1, Christopher Melendez as well. Peyton Hodge went 1 of 2, kind of a quiet night in terms of buckets. He didn't have any of those, but free throw that 1 for 1 point and 2 rebounds for the Eagles. Trey Hutchings came off the bench for a tray. He had 3 points and a board. It was Javen Hernandez late in the fourth quarter, got a transition bucket going backdoor on the layup. He had 2 points. And Amron Wheeler coming off the bench for a rebound. The Eagles finished up with 8 players in the scorebook. They out-rebounded Valley 29-14. Led in boards by Turbiatis with his 8 and 7 for Henderson, 4 for Abraham Pena. Eagles had single-digit in terms of turnovers, just 9 in this ball game. Definitely real good numbers there. They averaged 15 on the season, so nice to see that. Just a single-digit. Again, Eagles with 6 trays compared to 5 for the Valley Vikings. And Hobbs on the free throw line, not great tonight. 4 of 8 for 50%, but I guess when you win by so many that they did, 25, that the free throws weren't an issue in this ball game. So that's the numbers for the Hobbs Eagles. Again, winning this one 64-39 to go to 12-2 on the season.
Yeah, they do, and looks like they're going to go ahead and face West Mesa as they just ended up beating El Dorado just moments ago, 75-72. We are with the record of 4-2 on this series against West Mesa. That goes back to 1970 when they first played them in the state playoffs, and that game went 98-63. We only lost a couple of them. Actually, the last one, though, was in 2023, early on in the year. That was in January. That was a 65-55 loss for Hobbs, and so we haven't faced them in a couple of years, and it should be a whole new ball game for both sides.
Yeah, kind of wondering why that game was already played, because they were supposed to. I didn't think they had any afternoon games. I thought they had the night games.
It's the same time as this one.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess they moved that on the schedule just a little bit. So 3-point victory for West Mesa. They come into the game tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Friday against the Hobbs Eagles with a 7-3 record after that win today. West Mesa's been kind of a playoff contender the last couple of years. They've been showing some stuff pretty well on the court, so they're one of those sleeper-type teams. They knocked off La Cueva from the 5A by 12 to start the season. Lost to St. Mike's by 14, kind of a setback there. They picked off Valencia by 21. Los Alamos just blew them out of lower division teams, 71-39. Los Sandia, one of the top teams in the 5A, 79-68, losing by 11 to them. Beat Cibola, of course, the home team here on this court, beat them by 2. Knocked off El Dorado by 2 points, 66-64. Got a big win over Del Norte, 84-62, a 22-point win there. Beat Clovis from the Hobbs Eagle District by 11, 78-67. That was back about a week or so ago, January 3rd. Hope Christian, they lost by 3, and El Dorado, we just mentioned, 75-72, a win by 3. So 7-3 record for West Mesa. Eagles going to have a day off to kind of think about it, maybe get a little practice shooting session in before that game on Friday. Same with West Mesa, but they'll probably be on their home court working out a little bit. I'm sure the Eagles are sticking around here for the extra day before that Friday matchup. But Hobbs would like to continue on and get the consolation championship, as they would like to show that even though they lost to the number 1 team in the state in a very close battle, that they're still a team to be respected at number 2 in the Max Preps Bowl.
Exactly. And they'll be, of course, in a neutral place. It'll be played at Highlands. 7 o'clock is when it's going to start on that Friday, and definitely going to be something that Ronald Ross and, of course, the coaches are going to be working on for the Hobbs Eagles to continue their success, be able to get that nice start of the games as well as the nice finish, and work on the middle as well, and possibly even get those fouls under control, so that way they're not putting their opponent, West Mesa in this case, on the line to be able to get those extra points that will hurt the Hobbs Eagles if it's a close game.
And going on here in just a few minutes, not here at this court, but on the other side of town at Volcano Vista, the Hobbs Lady Eagles are in action. They'll take on the home team. I don't know why they give the home team a chance to play on their home court in this APS Metro, but Volcano Vista will be the host squad against the Hobbs Lady Eagles, and that will be on the sister station of ours, Eagle 100.5 on the radio. You can also get that HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. And, of course, the Lady Eagles like to get to the APS Metro Championship when they have a chance.
Exactly, they do, and they're always a good presence. In fact, it was just this is the third year that we both Hobbs teams have been invited to this Metro Tournament. The first year, they were very ecstatic about the fact that Hobbs, the Lady Eagles anyway, were doing so well, and they wanted to say that they improved the teams as far as what they had out there, and definitely improved what it looked like, and made them more exciting, I think.
Yeah, so we'll get a chance if you want to check that game out. It's coming up here in just a few minutes, a 7 o'clock tip-off, so about 15 minutes or so to get that action. Again, 100.5 The Eagle on the radio, those in the Lee County area, and, of course, throughout the state, HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and on Facebook as well. Just check on HobbsAmerica.com. You just go back to that Hobbs logo, and you find the girls' game there, all for free, of course. We're sorry we can't bring you the video of these games at the APS Metro. They have a contract with a company. A lot of debate about that. We won't go into the politics, but we'll bring you the audio of the rest of the tournament. Again, Friday night, again, 6:45 pregame show. Tip-off at 7 o'clock for the Hobbs boys as they will take on West Mesa, and then hopefully the girls win as well to move on, too. And, Ron, you got a tournament coming up you're going to be covering here tomorrow through Saturday. Of course, the Jal Panthers down in Lee County have a lot of teams coming to town.
Yeah, the 6th annual Panther Invitational is going to be going on from the 9th through the 11th. It's going to include such teams as Eunice on the both boys and the girls, and of course Dallas is going to be there as well. They're going to be playing the late games for the girls first, then the boys. Eunice is going to be facing against Corona. We'll be doing that game first, and that'll be for the boys. Actually, no, not Eunice boys. That'll be against Midland, Texas, Legacy, and that is what was it? Midland Legacy Charter Academy. That's right. And don't have much information about them, but they're out of Texas, of course, out of Midland. And Eunice will be facing them first at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, followed by Eunice girls. The Cardinals will be facing the Cardinals of Corona Vaughn. That'll be going on at 3:45. And then we're going to have a nice action for the girls, the Jow girls. And they'll be facing against Midland, Texas Leadership Charter Academy, going on at 5:30, also in the new gym, followed by the boys. And that'll be at Corona, for Corona Vaughn. And they'll be doing that at 7:15 once again in the new gym.
So if you want to catch the Jal Panther tournament, boys and girls in unison there as well, of course, go to HobbsAmerica.com, and Ron will have that on the Jal feed, and the Eunice games on the Eunice feed for that. So lots of good action there on the internet only on those games for the Jal tournament, featuring a lot of the Lee County squads at that. Final score here tonight, 64-39. Your Hobbs Eagles 12-2 after the win over Valley. Again, Friday night we'll be back live here in Albuquerque, a 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock start time. West Mesa the Team Eagles play next as they try to move on to a consolation championship. I'd like to thank Manuel back at the station. Also, Ron Gunner, myself, Ty Brennan, as we leave tonight. We'd like to thank our sponsors, too, keeping this all free and available to you online and on the radio at Lee County State Bank, LeeCo, IPS, Thriftway, TDS, LaBelle Insurance, Eunice Pump and Supply, Lasco Construction, New Mexico Junior College, Forest Tire, Albertsons Market, XL Energy, First American Bank of Hobbs, and NMR Pipeline. Thanks for being with us tonight for the APS Metro Tournament. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great rest of a Wednesday night out there.